the Lynx cliche for the Minnesota Twins. Game 4 of the AL Division Series. The New York Yankees are now 1 win away from creating a rematch of last year's riveting ALCS. Game 4 plays today right here on Fox. Welcome to the Metrodome along with Steve Lyons. I'm Josh Lewin. Johan Santana's on the mound today for Minnesota, and it seems like mentally a lot of people have their bags packed thinking this thing is done, that Game 4 goes to Minnesota because of Santana. Is that necessarily so?
Not so fast. I mean, it seems automatic for Twins fans. He's won 14 games in a row. He's 20-6 on the year. He probably should win the Cy Young. He's been outstanding. But you got to remember, this will be the third time that he's faced this Yankee lineup in the last 11 days. There's not a pitcher alive that wants to do that.
And, you know, for the Yankees, this was supposed to be the year of their great undoing. No Clemens, no Pettit in the postseason, but so far, Psycho, the guys who have made starts in this series have been very good. Can Vasquez come close to this today?
He is the biggest question mark in that starting rotation. Their starters have been very good in the playoffs. Maybe the weight of those pinstripes are getting a little heavier on his back. He's had trouble with location and trouble mechanically. It's been terrible in the second half. But everybody's talked this year about how they're not afraid of the Yankees anymore. The Red Sox have said it publicly. Torrey Hunter started this series by saying, we're not afraid of the Yankees anymore. But guess what? They won 101 games this season. They're 1 game away from going back to the League Championship Series. So be afraid of the Yankees. Be very afraid.
First gratuitous movie reference at 3:22 Central. Way to go. The New York Yankees and Minnesota Twins Game 4 coming up. Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers. And by Bristol Myers Squibb Company, hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Johan Santana was 14-0 after the All-Star break, including the Game 1 win against these New York Yankees. Here is their batting order for Joe Torre today. Derek Jeter, A-Rod Sheffield, Matsui, Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, Ruben Sierra, John Olerud, and Miguel Cairo. The Yankees, Steve, have won 22 of 26 against these Minnesota Twins, and shockingly 13 out of 15 here. You're not supposed to be able to walk in here and do that.
This is a team that plays very well at home. In their last 4 playoff games, however, haven't won one. Here's a look at Santana. Look at the numbers. 20-6 on the year. There you're looking at the Cy Young Award winner for this season. Go to a scouting report on Santana. Comes right at you with fastballs. He pitches inside to anybody. He's not afraid to come in, and he's got a devastating changeup. The difference in him this year is his ability to locate the fastball on both sides of the plate.
Pitching on 3 days rest for the first time as a starting pitcher. You know, 8 weeks into the season, Steve, Derek Jeter was hitting a .189. Johan Santana's ERA was 5.6.
Well, how things change. You know, the Yankees are known as a very patient ball club overall as far as the way they approach hitting. But against these Twins, they've been very aggressive early in the strike zone, mainly because of the way the Twins pitch. All their starting pitchers like to get ahead early, and so the Yankees have been attacking early.
Johan Santana, the AL pitcher of the month for July, for August, and September. And so far, October looks pretty decent, too. Game 1, no feel for that killer pitch, the changeup. Still, he pitched 7 shutout innings at Yankee Stadium.
helped out by his defense there with 5 double plays in that game.
On appeal, he's out.
This is the changeup we're talking about. Just a devastating pitch for him. Turns it over. Jeter out on his front foot. That ball almost hits the plate. Jeter just can't hold back. Looks like a good pitch to swing at when you go for it, and as you swing at it, it just drops off the table.
Baseball fans, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. And the old must-win cliche is here for the Minnesota Twins, made necessary by Kevin Brown and company last night. Alex Rodriguez. Conceived the A-Rod that underperformed for most of this year. Gave a virtuoso performance in Game 2 of this series. A-Rod held to an 0 for 5 last night, but 4 for 6 in Game 2 was large.
A-Rod just spitting on that changeup right there. Hey, I'd love to underperform at 36 homers and 106 RBIs. You know, listening to the pregame show, I think Jeannie Velasco said it best when she said, hey, they don't care what you do during the regular season. They're paying you to win 11 games right now.
Minnesota pitching issued the fewest walks in baseball this year. Santana doesn't figure to walk more than 1 or 2 a game. And as you said, Steve, knowing that, the Yankees had a very aggressive approach against Santana in Game 1.
Talked about him locating the fastball. That one out over the plate a little bit, kind of tailed back. He was trying to get in on A-Rod.
A-Rod is on. Gary Sheffield coming up. Let's take a look at how Minnesota covers the field with today's Minnesota Twins defense, brought to you by State Farm. You talked about the double plays. Johan Santana in that Game 1, not a single 1-2-3 inning. But he was backed by a postseason record-tying 5 double plays in that game. Gary Sheffield with a runner on. And with a left shoulder that should have been in surgery months ago, Gary Sheffield has emerged as the guy who will finish top 3 in the MVP voting if he doesn't win it outright.
Sheffield took 2 more cortisone shots in the shoulder before this series started. Been playing in pain the entire year. All I know is when he swings, it hurts everybody else. Man, he swings the bat with bad intent, doesn't he?
And he punished the American League this year. 36 home runs. 121 runs batted in. Well, there's that change. And the X factor today, obviously, is Santana on the 3 days rest for the first time all year.
There it is. You get Sheffield out on his front foot a little bit. That's easier to do to Shep than anybody else. He has more movement in his swing than maybe any other Yankee. Don Mattingly, the hitting instructor for the Yankees, says Shep goes bad when he starts to slide a little bit. He does, however, keep his hands back as well as anybody in the game.
Santana pointing it out. Blanco and Costi both there. It's Blanco. Obviously, the fans very much into it, although the home field advantage has been turned upside down of late here in the playoffs. Let's go to Chris Myers.
Josh, the Yankees have kind of diffused the Metrodome crowd. In fact, Joe Torre pointed to a couple of advantages for his team today. He said with Santana, our hitters won't be facing him in the shadows. That's a plus. He said his cleanup hitter, Hideki Matsui, is used to playing in dome stadiums. He played there every day when he played over in Japan. And Matsui, of course, did a good job in Game 1 against Santana. In their last 4 home games in the postseason, the Twins are 0-4.
And the point about Hideki Matsui, he does have a semblance of success against Santana. 7 out of 14. That's including last year's postseason, this year's postseason.
That's why normally Joe Torre drops Matsui down in the order when he faces a left-hander, but because he's hitting the ball so well in general and so well against Santana, he left him in the number 4 spot.
And Matsui closing last night with 3 consecutive hits, including the home run off the glove of Torrey Hunter. Look out.
Little message pitch right here. Get off the plate a little bit. We talked about that in the scouting report of Santana. Not afraid to go in on anybody. And that's what has been the biggest difference in the success for him, is pitching inside and then locating his fastball on both sides of the plate.
Safe lead at first for Alex Rodriguez. Well, the Yankees continue to get contributions from everybody in this series. 5 different players have homered for New York in the first 3 games of this ALDS. Now the change, not called a strike by home plate umpire Mike Everett. And Everett, when he first came up umpiring in the major leagues, he was a guy who was known for having a very generous strike zone. It seems like over the last couple of years it shrunk.
Generally shrinks come playoff time too.
That change up right there.
You talk about all the guys that have contributed. As you look at the replay of this pitch that catches a good portion of the plate, and that's what you're going to have to worry about with Santana if he doesn't locate. Joe Torre asked about the win last night and all the guys that contributed, especially the guys that have been around so long since the '96 run that the Yankees have been on. Bernie Williams, Posada, Jeter, and Mo.
He pulled the string and Matsui strikes out. The Twins will face Vasquez when we come back. The Division Series on Fox brought to you by Honda, the 4-wheel drive 255 horsepower Pilot built by Honda. By Stanley, make something great. And by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. There's Javier Vasquez, 14-10, 4.91 in the regular season, but it was a lot better in April, May, and June than it was in July, August, and September.
Oh, when you look at the 2 starting pitchers today, one of them, Vasquez, was an all-star. The other, Santana, was not.
That's amazing.
He's, right now, you look at the scouting report for Vasquez, his mechanics are the keys. Had a lot of trouble with that front shoulder opening up. He's got to keep the ball down in the strike zone and really have the first game jitters. First time he's ever taken a mound in a postseason game.
He is facing Shannon Stewart, who rifled a home run against him to open things up here at the Metrodome in a game in August. A 7-2 Minnesota win. Vasquez on the mound. Stewart hit Vasquez's second pitch out of the park. So here we go, 0-1. And we'll see if, as Yogi said, it's deja vu all over again. Into center. Base hit. Now the rest of the Minnesota starting 9. After Stewart, Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter, who leads the team in runs batted in and probably the league in charisma, as we are finding out in this postseason. Justin Morneau, the rookie at first base. Koski, Ford, Guzman, Michael Kadire, Henry Blanco. And you know, Steve, a lot of attention being paid to Santana on 3 days rest today. What of Vasquez on 8 days rest?
Well, I don't think that helps the guy to sit out longer than he's used to either, especially a guy who's had trouble mechanically. Want to get into a rhythm.
Now, one of the big issues for Vasquez is he is prone to the home run ball. He allowed 33 of them, 3rd highest total in franchise history. And the key for him, obviously, is to keep the ball down. Sometimes, I guess so, when you sit around for a while, you come out and everything's up.
Everything's up, and what we're talking about with Vasquez is that front shoulder, his left shoulder flies out towards the Yankee dugout. He opens everything up, and they talk about his pitches leaking. Leak back out over the plate. Everything flattens out. His curveball flattens out. His fastball comes up in the strike zone, and everything gets hammered.
Vasquez now to Jacques Jones, who has played this series for even. Jacques' dad passing away a week ago. He has homered twice in the 3 games of this series. Is Jacques Jones. Been a series of red-eye flights back and forth to California. Mentally, he's exhausted. He says physically he's fine.
Check out the mechanics. That front shoulder driving down and towards the strike zone. Pretty good right there.
And I would say that really that's what the Yankees need from Vasquez today, right? They need him to be pretty good. They don't need him to be outstanding. The bullpen is reasonably well rested. If they can get 5 or 6 from Vasquez, they're okay.
The only guy they don't really want to pitch any length today would be Canyon Sturts out of that bullpen, so the Yankees are in fine shape.
Jones booms it to right. The runner was in motion, but Stewart got confused. He held up. He stopped at second, so now he scampers to third. It goes as a long single for Jacques Jones.
Now, this play will look a little bit odd because this ball's hit so hard by Jones, but it's not hit very high in the air. He doesn't get any lift, and right now, Stewart's not sure if that ball might get caught by Sheffield, so he did the right thing by stopping right there to take a look. He's not going to score on that ball anyway, so he wanted to make sure that he didn't get doubled off if Sheffield makes a great catch and right.
And it sets it up for Torrey Hunter, who has said, Steve, we're tired of being the TV show that gets canceled. We are ready to move on.
You talk about a guy that can light up a room with his charisma. Forget about how talented he is on the playing surface. He has become the face of this Twins organization.
You mean he can turn the world on with his smile?
You got that right.
Right here in Minneapolis? See if he throws his hat in the air like Mary Tyler Moore did. He's being asked today to put this team on his back. And it's a sore back after that collision with the outfield wall last night.
I really think the keys offensively for the Twins have to be Stewart and Koski. Here you're going to get a good look at a little slider, maybe cut fastball away from Torrey Hunter. And Shannon Stewart, for a leadoff guy, has not scored a run in this series, and Koski has struck out way too many times in key situations.
Off-speed stuff from Vasquez. He is quickly ahead of Torrey Hunter.
Good location for this pitch. Down and away. Torrey Hunter can't reach it. Out on the front foot.
Torrey Hunter, 5 hits in this series so far. Bangs this one to right. Back at the track. And here comes Shannon Stewart, 1-0 Minnesota. That's what we have here. 1-up with the Astros and the Braves. Here's Jeannie Zalaska with the game break.
Yeah, wait till you see what's going on in Houston. Top 9, 2 outs, nobody on. The Braves last hope. Marcus Giles with Brad Lidge with too much. Astros take the series lead with their 19th straight home win. Roger Clemens to try to close it out tomorrow.
It's a good guy to have on the mound trying to close it out.
Not too many better.
The rookie, the Canadian Justin Morneau. 2 left-hand swinging Canadians in a row in this lineup for the Twins. Morneau and Koski, they play the corners. First base and third base.
The Twins believe that's the first time in history it's ever been done in Major League Baseball. Back-to-back native Canadians.
Morneau replacing the popular but less powerful Doug Minkiewicz at first base. The same Doug Minkiewicz who was Alex Rodriguez's favorite receiver as his high school football teammate at Westminster Christian Academy in Miami. It was A-Rod throwing touchdown passes to a sure-handed tight end, Doug Minkiewicz. Alex Rodriguez reached in the first inning. The only Yankee to do so against Johan Santana. And I don't know about you, Steve, but it seems like the changeup is back from Johan Santana.
You know, in that first inning, if he keeps throwing like that, I mean, can't imagine that the 3 days rest is bothering him yet. Pretty nasty stuff in that first.
He said he just couldn't get the feel for that changeup on that crisp evening, the game one in New York, but man, indoors today, and as you say, on 3 days rest, and they're very early returns, obviously, 19 pitches, but probably 9 or 10 of those were changeups, and they all look real good.
Absolutely. He likes to pitch in this stadium better than anywhere else because he doesn't have to worry about the elements. Joe Torre was talking about the fact that the afternoon start in Yankee Stadium, that his hitters had to deal with the shadows and facing Santana. Not so today.
Rip and a miss. 2-2 the count. Chris Myers, what you got?
Well, Al Newman, the third base coach of the Twins, told me before the game that because he's so worried about his mechanics, they think they can run on Vasquez. And even with their base running mistakes, overly aggressive in Game 3, the Twins will be proactive throughout the game. We've already seen it in this inning.
Yeah, the Twins were belly flopping all over the bases yesterday. Morneau punches it down the left field line. A-Rod chasing. Came out dead. We talked to both managers about the base running adventures for the Twins yesterday as you watch Alex Rodriguez go after this. And I guess the thing that came out of it is that, hey, Ron Gardenhire says, I want my guys to be aggressive. It's something that you can't just turn off all of a sudden.
You see Jock Jones coming back to tag on that play if A-Rod was able to catch it, which is the right thing to do. You know, this Twins team has made it to the playoffs the last 3 seasons because they are an aggressive team. Ron Gardenhire is not about to try to squelch that in any way. They made some bad base running mistakes yesterday, but Gardenhire will live and die with that. Because I can't turn them off. I can't stop them. I encourage it. Try to get them to make smart base running decisions. But he said, we will take advantage of those situations far more than we'll be thrown out by taking that extra base.
Runner goes. Morneau, a swing and a miss. The tip. Jock Jones argues the call. No sale. It's a double play, and it stays 1-0. Jock Jones insisted he was safe on that stolen base attempt, and we'll revisit that in just a moment. It stays 1-0 Minnesota. Bernie Williams offers at the changeup. Johan Santana has streaked to the top of the AL pitching charts with a breakout season. That paralyzing changeup, but as you said, Steve, also that sizzling mid-90s fastball to go with. A lot of changeups early.
That's his go-to pitch. It's his out pitch. But it's really been set up by how well he's thrown his fastball all season.
Bernie Williams fouls it. Santana's season starting very slowly. Recovering from elbow surgery, and in mid-June, he had a .500 record, an ERA in the upper 4s.
Look at those numbers are gaudy. Opponent's batting average of a .168.
If Oral Hershiser was a left-handed Venezuelan, This would be Hershiser in 1988. Unconscious down the stretch, carrying that in and through the postseason. Not a 59-inning scoreless streak to end the season for Santana, but pretty close. Bernie Williams, base hit right field. Jacques Jones will scoop it up. Let's revisit with Jacques Jones out there at second base. Part of the strike him out, throw him out double play.
Well, Jones thought that Jeter didn't tag him. You see the second base umpire, Paul Nauert, right there. He can't really tell. He's blocked out by his own positioning, but he is in the correct position to make that call. You see the sweep tag by Jeter, misses him by 2 feet. And then Jacques Jones says, he never got me. You're right, Jock, he didn't.
The phantom swipe tag.
That's really one of those plays because the ball was thrown on the first base side of second base. It took Jeter out of position, which made it a much tougher call for the second base umpire to make. He was in correct position to make the call, but the play took him away from being able to see the right call.
Paul Nauert, the second base umpire, 1-0 the count to Posada.
That's filthy right there.
He disguises that changeup so well.
Well, it's a lot the same way as when you look at a guy like Pedro Martinez and his changeup. His arm delivery is exactly the same as his fastball.
The end of center field. Torrey Hunter backing up. He's got it.
And nobody plays in this stadium center field better than Torrey Hunter, but he got fooled by that ball. I don't know if he lost it momentarily. The ball was hit much harder than he originally thought. You see him shifting into a second gear to catch up with that ball after a real late break. Oh, what an effort he made on that play last night. A home run ball.
He seemed almost embarrassed that he didn't actually make that catch. He had it, then he whacked into the wall out there, and the ball came out and went into the first row.
Hitting that wall was like getting hit by a Peterbilt.
Ruben Sierra steps in, runner on, one out.
Yeah, he hits the wall right where the wall gets solid here in the Metrodome. Oh. Ball was in his glove, and then when he hit his arm on the wall, it came out. They were concerned for his health at one point, but after they realized he was okay, Jacques Jones came over and said, you know, I was a safety in high school, and I hit harder than that.
Well, the way Torrey Hunter plays center, I mean, he's kind of like a free safety. He goes so deep into left center, so deep into right center, and that allows Lou Ford in left to play closer to his line, Jacques Jones in right to guard his line.
One of the premier center fielders in the game today, there's no question about that, and from left center field to right, the wall is very forgiving, so he can run dead on into it. Right about where he hit in left center, right here is where it starts. It gets much harder, and it's a solid wall. Running into that thing's no problem.
Well, meantime, the count 3-0 to Ruben Sierra, who does not have a hit in this series. Although, as Santana can tell you, he came awfully close, leading off the bottom of the seventh in game one, yanked one down the line that originally was called a home run. They reversed it.
Umpires got together and made the right call.
Now that is ball four. You got two on for Olerud. Santana has never allowed a home run to these New York Yankees. Now into a 37th inning of work. Don't forget, later on, 7:30 Eastern, we've got the National League Division Series. Game 3, the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Matt Morris, Jose Lima, presented by the all-new Dodge Dakota. Those are some guys that have been allowing home runs this year, too. We talked about Vasquez giving up 33. Morris and Lima also have given up about that number.
I think Olerud presents an interesting scenario for the Twins and Santana, because hitting left-handed, Santana will throw him far fewer changeups. He only has to worry about 2 pitches, fastball and the curveball. The old theory of lefties not throwing lefties changeups because you don't want to speed the bat up. If you leave a changeup out over the plate to a left-hander, he'll put it in the seats in right field. We had that discussion with Allrood, and we both kind of said, I don't get it, why you wouldn't throw a changeup to a lefty just because you're left-handed. If you can't hit a changeup, or if it's one of your best weapons, why not use it to both sides? And Allrood says he very rarely throws me one.
Off the scrap heap from Seattle, Allrood has done a very nice job for New York. Matter of fact, the Yankees have done a real nice job importing left-hand swinging former Seattle first baseman. They won 4 World Series with Tino Martinez. Allrood batted clean up the year the Mariners set a record by winning 116 games. Runner going second at third, and Allrood pops it into foul ground. Koski chasing is out of room. Now, that was Bernie Williams on the move. Sierra was not going behind him from first to second.
Almost every guy in the lineup is on their own as far as running. Williams takes off here. Allrood takes a hack at it, and the ball that Bernie hit for a home run in last night's ball game was actually a hit and run.
Now, the Yankees had a big second inning, with the bottom of the order being the catalyst last night. Trying to follow form here with 2 on. Got it.
Boy, he just froze Allrood right there, looking for something else. Fastball away. Allrood knew it.
Although Santana's in on 3 days rest for the first time, Steve, he only threw 93 pitches in that game 1. He was backed by all the double plays. If nothing else, the Yankees are making him work a little bit here this afternoon. 19 pitches in the first inning. 17 more here in the second.
Well, that's usually the MO of the Yankees. Very patient at the plate. They all work counts. Jeter might be the most aggressive of all the Yankee hitters. But in this series, they have come out swinging early and often.
Miguel Cairo. Boy, he was an unlikely playoff hero a couple of years ago when Scott Rowland got hurt in St. Louis. Up stepped Cairo, and at one point he was 7 for 7.
Another guy in the lineup. I mean, you talk about a guy hitting 9th in your lineup is just a tough out every time he steps up there.
Williams singled, Sierra walked. Miguel Cairo played every day in September for the Yankees. He hit about 350. Slap to right field, Jock Jones into the corner, and Santana is out of the inning. Since the end of August, the guy on the left has an ERA of .4. That means this man, Vasquez, has to be outstanding today, maybe, because 1-0 with Johan Santana on the mound. Well, that might feel like 4-0.
He keeps pitching the way he has.
Vasquez to Corey Koski here in the second. You know, Vasquez, on his way into the news conference yesterday, Steve, was whistling casually as he walked in. I think the tacit message was, hey, no big deal. I can handle this. First big league postseason appearance. No big deal.
Now, this is a guy that came into this Yankee team being very successful, pitching for the Montreal Expos. They expected more out of him this season, certainly in the second half.
You know, he was 111 in run support in the major leagues last year. He knew that wouldn't happen again once he signed with New York. Indeed, he's had the run support. What he's lost, as you've mentioned, is his consistency. In too tight. Vasquez does not normally start an inning with a walk. That happened to him only 9 times all year. This is his 210th inning. But here he is, 3-1 on Koski.
Here's what we were talking about before, him falling off the mound and opening up the shoulder a little bit too quick. This was 2 pitches ago. Watch where Vasquez ends up after he throws the ball. Front shoulder leading, look at him falling off the mound over there, and the ball tailing up and in to Koski.
A little quiver, A-Rod, off the back foot, and the scoop by Olerud. What a play.
Wow. So you've never played third base before, huh? We'll make you one this year. Look at this play.
When A-Rod was in Seattle, he regarded John Olerud as about his best friend on the team and one of the best in the business at vacuuming up wayward throws. They are reunited. Different uniform, different position for Alex. Outstanding at both ends. That one's in to Lou Ford, 1-0.
Just seems like the guy who picks it at the back end of a play like that is the guy who kind of gets forgotten. You look at the play that A-Rod makes, and it's beautiful, but you can't pick it at first base like Olerud did. It's a base hit, and there's a guy standing over there.
Vasquez receiving a little bit of help so far. That play by Alex Rodriguez to strike him out, throw him out, double play last inning, too. Jock Jones, maybe rightfully so, had a dissenting opinion as to whether or not he was safe or out. Did it clip him? Yes, it did.
Well, you watch that whole at bat by Ford, it was almost like he didn't care if he got hit. The first pitch was up and in, and he almost tried to move into it. That one, he certainly wasn't trying to get out of the way of. I like that. Up on top of the plate, hitting down in the order. Try to get on any way you can.
That's why you don't have the spray painted on jersey. Let it go baggy like that. Here's how the Yankees cover the field with today's State Farm defense. You've got Matsui, Williams, and Sheffield in the outfield again. Pretty much the standard look here for Joe Torre. Guzman way out in front. Ron Gardenhire joking with us before the game. He got a look at that Yankee lineup and he kind of sniffed and said, man, I thought Joe Torre might rest some of the regulars today. Day game after a night game.
Oh, so funny. Just to break the ice in the meetings you have with the managers, you sit down. And the more you hang around Ron Gardenhire, the more you like him.
Gardenhire broke in as a major league player under Joe Torre with the Mets. 1981.
We asked Torre if he thought there would be another guy out there that could manage this team, speaking of the Twins, better than Gardy has done. And he says, I don't think there's anyone out there. Torre said he might have been pulling his hair out if he saw some of the things that went on in yesterday's ball game. And Gardy said, that's my team. I don't know if there's a manager in the big leagues that truly loves his players and supports them like Ron Gardenhire does with the Twins.
Slapped at a play by Guzman. Kind of a foreboding sense of deja vu for Minnesota right now, Steve. Last year, Minnesota won Game 1 at Yankee Stadium. then lost the next two, and had Santana on the mound right here for Game 4. And you know how that went.
Ford has got 20 stolen bases on the year. He was going.
It's tough to run on Vasquez. He had a streak, Steve, going back to last year at one point, 236 innings without allowing a single stolen base. It was Torrey Hunter that finally got him right here 6 weeks ago.
Ford was caught leaning the other way that time. I don't know if he was on the run or not. Looked like he had intentions of going. Chris Myers brought it up that they're worried. They think they can run because Vasquez is worried about his mechanics and he'll be more deliberate.
But then you look at the numbers and see that he's allowed only 2 steals all year. And we'll see how it plays out. I think obviously the score of the game, the situation will dictate a lot of it too. Ford is going. Posada is throwing, not in time.
He just had a great jump right there. Vasquez fairly quick to the plate, as you mentioned, but a tremendous jump by Ford off first base. Posada could have put this ball in his back pocket and said, I have no chance of getting him. Why even throw it down there?
So just the 3rd steal he's allowed all year, 2 of them at the Metrodome. And the count 1-2 to Guzman. Two out.
That's been part of the problem with Guzman his whole career. Watch his feet, not stable underneath him, sliding, moving too much, all his weight out on his front foot, and swinging at a pitch down in the dirt.
The off-speed stuff has been nearly as effective for Vasquez, it seems, as it has been for Santana so far. But again, you've got so little wiggle room with Santana on the mound, allowing, again, on average, about a run per start. And that's going back to July. Strike 1 to Michael Kadire.
Huge at bat right here for the Twins in the early going of this game with Kadire up, hitting 500 in the series. And a chance to drive Ford in.
Wild to swing right there. And you know, the crowd doesn't exactly seem real willing to stand up and wave those hankies right now. They were very loud as we came on the air. They were loud when the Twins took the lead.
This is a crowd that's known for being loud, and you're right, very quiet with an opportunity to score right now. I don't know if Kadire is bothered by the way Ford takes his secondary lead off the second base. He's very loud and rambunctious out there. Sometimes a hitter can be bothered by seeing all the movement of that secondary lead there by Ford.
Off speed again, and down he goes. Maybe the fans knew something. Nothing happened in that inning. Alex Rodriguez coming in. Johan Santana back to work in Game 4. Twins win. It would send this thing back to the Bronx tomorrow for Game 5. Winner take all at that point. And the winner moves on to face the Boston Red Sox. Derek Jeter continues to cement his stature, Steve, as the one guy in baseball who, in games that are big, does the things that are little. The not in the box score stuff, which is what the winning run in Game 2 was all about. Jeter, the quick retreat to third base on Matsui's liner to right.
Not only that, how he approached that at-bat to get on. That bat previous to that. Against Joe Nathan, he went up there with nobody on and tried to jump the yard and win it by himself. In the at-bat that won the game, he worked Nathan for a walk ahead of A-Rod.
He has always showed in the playoffs why he is such a special player. Two of the most incredible defensive plays you'd ever want to see in the 2001 Division Series. The option pass to the plate to cut down Jeremy Giambi. The headlong dive into the stands to catch a foul ball. It's almost like you're just waiting for what and when. You know something's coming.
When you talk about guys that just know how to play the game and play the game right, Derek Jeter's at the top of that list. I mean, when you think about the intangibles, as you talked about, what he's done, because when you look at just the overall numbers, and Jeter is paid among the players that are at the top of the pay scale. Jeter's driven in 100 runs only one time in his career, never hit 25 home runs in a season. Scores 100 runs every year.
And he bangs this one into left center. Well, the Yankees working the count more in this game against Santana. They've got their second hit against Santana. Jeter and A-Rod at the top of this lineup now, and it wasn't always that way. They have flip-flopped, moved things around in the lineup, and now that it's Jeter 1 and Alex Rodriguez 2, that has been just an electric way to start ball games for the New York Yankees.
And Rodriguez feels very comfortable in that number 2 spot, hitting between Jeter and Sheffield. Who wouldn't? Yeah. But he feels like he actually has better chances to contribute to this team in the number 2 spot than he does when he's like 3, 4, or 5 anywhere in that part of the order.
The irony of that, I suppose, a few years ago, there was that magazine article where A-Rod kind of took a swipe at Jeter, saying, yeah, you know, you get to hit in that number 2 spot. That's a real cushy spot. I wish I had that luxury. Well,
now you do.
Now he does, and Jeter's in front of him. A lot of magazine articles have been written about these two guys, Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. You've seen Jeter on the cover of GQ. You've seen him on a cereal box. You've seen him hosting Saturday Night Live, endorsing peanut butter. But he's earned it because you've seen him in a batch of World Series games, too.
You know, I like that one, too. Shows about guys that give back to the community and are aware of what's going on around them.
Off the end of the bat in the center, Torrey Hunter looking for it and now finds it. Now, if anybody knows how tough it is to play the conditions here, it's Torrey Hunter.
I think he's decoying right here. He knows where the ball is. He's trying to get Jeter.
You think?
Yes, he's trying to get Jeter to move up.
I think you're right.
He's acting like he doesn't know where it is, and he knows exactly where it is. He was hoping, see, you get the smile right there saying, I'm going to try to get you to move up there.
The telltale smile right there. You're right.
Derek's not biting for that at all. Great move.
No, when you slow it down, you saw he had his eyes fixated on where that baseball was. Sheffield tomahawks one foul.
You know, in the early going here, Josh, I think what I'm most impressed with as far as the way the Twins are playing this game right now, still very aggressive, taking the action to the Yankees in an elimination game. Not playing tight. You see Torrey Hunter out there almost messing around, trying to get Jeter to bite on a decoy play and then laughing. Guys are having fun playing the game.
Oh, he got at least one announcer to bite. He did not get Jeter. But, you know, it's an interesting point, Steve. And, you know, after they got throttled yesterday, it was essentially an 8-1 game yesterday. There was some cosmetic surgery at the end, made it 8-4. But the Twins came in that clubhouse. Ron Gardenhire ordered the radio on and at a high decibel. I think the tacit implication being that, hey, you know, this is...
We're not done yet.
Yeah, let's just go out and play tomorrow.
I think the theory there is, you know, you play 162 games during the regular season. If you're lucky enough to get into the playoffs, there's a lot of teams sitting home right now watching. It's like if you can't turn the radio on every time you lose a game, you're not going to be listening to the radio a lot.
Vicious cut by Sheffield, but this is a pop-up. Morneau couldn't hold it. It was awkward because you had a few Twins in the vicinity.
It's an outstanding effort by Morneau because Blanco lost that ball. You have to see how far Morneau comes over. Now Blanco's really going after this ball. You're not sure if there might be a collision here because you don't really have a chance to call that because neither guy knew if he could actually catch up to the ball. It should have been a ball caught by Henry Blanco. It was much closer to him, but when the ball went up, he lost it. Morneau had to come a long way in to try to make that play and almost did it.
Tell you what, though, the one thing that a play like that reminds you of is pitch count regarding Santana. Now it takes an extra pitch or two, or you never know how many to get through this inning. His 49th pitch of the afternoon is due. And the only reason you and I are even dissecting and discussing pitch count is because for the first time in his career as a starter, Santana's in on 3 days rest. Off the plate. Kadire, underhand toss to get him. Matsui coming up next. And folks, you can play Hit the Pros, presented by the all-new GMC Canyon. Base reel pitches from today's best pitchers, including Johan Santana. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN, keyword games, GMC. We are professional grade.
That was a nice little play by Kadire there playing second base. I think the world was introduced to Michael Kadire a couple of seasons ago in the playoffs when he was playing in the outfield. He originally signed as a shortstop. He lost 15 pounds this offseason because he lost nearly 90 games last year to hamstring injuries. Wanted to be more mobile, and now he ends up being a second baseman because of the injuries to Luis Rivas.
Hideki Matsui, the one Yankee who can claim success in the past against Santana. Couple of hits in game one, 7 out of 15 now overall against him. Minnesota, indeed, Steve, has won this year with pitching. A team that hadn't finished a year in the top 5 in AL ERA since 1992. Well, thanks to Santana, they were right out in front this year.
They're a National League team playing in the American League. Pitching and defense dominates. They only have 2 guys in their entire lineup that drove in over 80 runs.
Down the stretch this September, on into October, a lot of the scouts you talked to said, watch out for Minnesota. If they're going to represent the AL, though, in this year's World Series, they've got to get past 2 teams with 9-digit payrolls. The Yankees and Boston.
Well, I think Terry Ryan, the general manager of the Minnesota Twins, has not only done an outstanding job putting this team together, but I think he'd like to say that they like to think they spend their money smart. They just don't have a lot of it to spend.
Ground ball, right side, base hit, Matsui. Jock Jones comes up firing. Tie game, and the ball gets away. Matsui to second base. It is 1-1. We talked about it, Steve. Matsui, lefty versus lefty. You wouldn't think that that's the kind of matchup that favors the Yankees. But he has delivered time and again against Santana.
Now just bouncing one into right field. The mistake here is with Henry Blanco. Once he knows that he has no chance of making this out at home, he ought to come off of home plate and get out of the way. Jeter's going to knock him out of the way. The ball kicks away. Now you have a guy in scoring position again with 2 outs. Where if he just would have come off the plate, he knows that Jeter's going to be safe easily. Get out of the way.
Jones trying to throw out Jeter has already been a memorable snapshot in this series back in Game 2. Second try at it, Jock Jones didn't need a cutoff man this time. And the error is going to be on Blanco. Now a runner at second for Bernie Williams in a tie game.
Puts a little bit more pressure on Santana and the defense here of the Twins. If Matsui stays at first base, basically with 2 outs, any base hit's going to score him.
Williams creamed a home run yesterday to right. I know it's early, Steve, but a couple of big things for the Twins in their half innings. That phantom tag to end the first inning down at second base, and the fact that the Twins had a chance to add to the lead in the second inning, but saw Guzman and Kadire both strike out. In the air. No deep this time from Torrey Hunter. And that'll do it. Big 2-out hit from Matsui. Shannon Stewart will be among the Twins coming up when we come back to Minneapolis. Minnesota batting now here in the bottom of the third. Henry Blanco against Javier Vasquez. It's a 1-1 game. The Twins with a sac fly from Torrey Hunter in the bottom of the first. And a big 2-out hit from Hideki Matsui got the Yankees even. (9-1-2) in the order for Minnesota against Vasquez, making his first ever postseason appearance. Wow. Off speed, tantalizing pitch, and Blanco out of there.
It was like an Ephus pitch curveball. Go back to last inning and the missed pop foul ball right here with Barry Sheffield up. He then bounced out weakly to second base. That moved Jeter up to second. And then this play here, Jeter scoring. He never would have been on second base if they were able to catch that foul ball.
The Twins have used base hits like the one you just saw as a weapon ever since they have been in the Metrodome. The Yankees, though, over the last couple of games, as Stewart takes down and away here, it seems like the Yankees have used this field more to their advantage than Minnesota has. They cornered the market on little ground ball singles that dripped into left field yesterday. And on this turf, even though it's changed, it's not the AstroTurf anymore, it's the field turf. Sometimes, I guess, that's all you need, right? Just beat the ball on the ground and run.
Every player likes this turf better. They didn't at first. It took a while to mat it down and get it to settle a little bit. Looks like grass. The old turf was so springy that if you hit a little looping fly ball into a short outfield, you could get an easy double because it would bounce so high you could keep running while the ball bounced. It took too long to get to the outfielder in order for him to throw you out.
Fastball rings the corner, 2-2 the count to Stewart.
Location, outer half, pretty much hits the glove.
Over to short. Jeter has got it. Weeknights on FSN, the best damn sports show period. Scheduled to appear this week, you've got comedian Drew Carey. And Michael Strahan will talk Giants football along with giving his weekly NFL analysis. Plus much, much more. The best damn sports show period, weeknights only on FSN. not much of a rally for the Minnesota Twins. They went quickly and quietly against Javier Vasquez. The Division Series on Fox brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Minnesota grabbed an early lead for Johan Santana. For the Yankees, for whom patience has been a virtue, Steve Lyons, they have worked Johan Santana to almost 60 pitches through 3 innings. They have tied the game.
What the Yankee lineups have been known for, just wearing starting pitching out, getting into the other team's bullpen, and beating you that way. You're talking about a team that had 61 come-from-behind victories that set a new Major League record this year, and so far have 2 in the postseason already.
Posada, Sierra, and Olerud here. Derek Jeter scored the tying run in the 3rd. Matsui worked a count to 3-1, knocked him in. Ripped into left field. That is foul. Santana has not had a 1-2-3 inning yet against the Yankees. Game 1 or here in Game 4.
Posada.
Who loves you, baby?
Hey, you got that. Keep it fair next time. I don't think that is the case, but it used to be. Ted Williams used to talk about this, where if you foul a pitch off, straight back, you sometimes could smell the leather. As it hits your bat, you could smell it burn.
Not enough. He had a great pair of eyes. He had a great nose.
Exactly. He didn't foul off many pitches.
That's the truth. Here's the 1-2. Now the Yankees now up 2 games to 1. Again, they're leaning on Santana. Are the Minnesota Twins to force Game 5 tomorrow? He was getting the changeup over the first couple innings. Missing with it more now. Let's see what he does on 3-2. Little slide piece. Something new. Changeups and fastballs, though, pretty much for Santana. Here's Scooter to tell you about the fastball.
This is Scooter. When Scooter really wants to scoop, it's time for a little heat. The pitcher just rears back and throws me as hard as he can. A good fastball comes in so fast, that hitter has no time to react. Stay right.
And the fastest fastball has been clocked at 94 for Santana today. .93 is pumped onto the corner. Ruben Sierra down 0-1.
That was the pitch they say generally uses fastball and his changeup most, but will throw a lot of 3-2 sliders.
In the left. Well, one thing about Ruben Sierra, who is now 39 years old, and this has been true since he was 19 years old, you throw him a fastball like this, blow it in, and he's going to cream it.
Look at the arc of his swing. Big leg kick. Bat through the hitting zone for a long time. Look at the frozen on contact there. Big leg kick, but will he get his feet down in time to go ahead and hit that pitch? Now, you can do anything you want before you actually swing. You look at all great hitters. They all get to the same place at point of contact, regardless of what they do before that happens.
Now John Olerud, 1 on, 1 out. Over to first, a juggle by Morneau. The rookie gets rid of it. Safe at first base. And the fans are getting all over Jerry Crawford, the first base umpire. But it was the juggle by Morneau that even made it an issue.
That little bobble right there cost him some time. The throw back from Guzman. And Olerud was safe.
And again, it gets the pitch count up there for Santana, not being able to turn it.
Pretty close play down there first. Olerud hustling all the way. We watched that swing from Sierra. You talk about a guy who still has one of the prettiest swings in the game, and that's Olerud.
Miguel Cairo takes down too low. The fastball from Santana.
Hey, Josh, that was a play right there, too, where you talk about Guzman and his ability as a shortstop, which is outstanding. He made just 12 errors this season. But for me, he was a little too nonchalant on that throw back to first. He should have had his momentum going back to first base. He had plenty of time to do it.
Now Cairo gets in a one. Boy, not to pick on the rookie Morneau, but it was his drop last inning that got Jeter in a scoring position eventually. Matsui came up with a 2-out hit. The inability to turn this double play, whether it's Guzman or Morneau or both of them contributing. And again, here come the Yankees.
You'll watch Guzman take the throw flat-footed on second base, when I think that he should have had his momentum coming towards the ball. See, flat-footed, catching it and throwing it. He should have taken that throw much more
close.
Similar to the way you would take a throw from a second baseman turning a double play, getting your momentum going towards first base. And there's the pitch up and out over the plate from Santana that gets hammered to left by Cairo.
Derek Jeter, a career .373 hitter in Division Series play. Strike one.
A 14-game hitting streak in Division Series. Been on base in 20 straight division games. This is the biggest at-bat of Johan Santana's career right here.
And the Yankees, who were so aggressive against Santana in Game 1, again have been so patient here today. 70 pitches now. Working on 3 days rest for Johan Santana. The crowd is into it. 1-2, the count to Jeter.
I'd throw the slider down and in, similar to the pitch that he threw Posada right here.
Leads it off in the bottom of the 4th inning. The showdown you just saw was classic between Derek Jeter and Johan Santana. Santana winning out. And you called it, Psycho, going into that bag of tricks at the end. Known for his fastball, known for his changeup. He pulled out the slider and down went Jeter.
I think he's done a great job of saving that slider for situations just like that. Got Posada with the pitch earlier in that inning. Came back with it to Jeter.
Now the Twins trying to use that as some momentum. They've got 3, 4, 5 in the order here against Javier Vazquez. And so far, Vazquez has acquitted himself pretty well. Kind of a stumble start. First and third, nobody out in the first. But this is a 1-1 game.
I think the Twins need to do something to get this crowd back in it. You're talking about 55,000 people here. looking for a reason to erupt.
That'll get him started with a walk to Torrey Hunter. Let's take you back to the Jeter at-bat against Santana.
Now, how does Cy Young respond to the biggest at-bat of his life? All location. Away to Jeter, then down and in. Then away, 2 strikes, and then the slider down and in to put him away. All excellent location pitches. Jeter didn't have a chance.
And again, it has not come easy for Santana today. It really didn't in Game 1. We mentioned no 1, 2, 3 innings. He was backed by 5 double plays in that game.
Now, we talked about the aggressive play of these Minnesota Twins, but if you think about it, over the last couple seasons, they don't steal as many bases as they used to. They still play very aggressively. Hunter had 21 stolen bases on the season, got caught 7 times. Jock Jones got thrown out in earlier in today's ball game. He got thrown out 11 times during the year. None of them on the whole run as much as they used to, except Hunter. Rivas stole 31 bases in 2001, just 15 this year.
Justin Morneau skies one into right field. Sheffield having a tough time finding this one. And that's no deke at all. That is flat out being confused. Morneau tiptoes in at second. What has been described as the tapioca sky here in Minneapolis. That milky white cover to this dome just ate up Gary Sheffield.
Well, it's a bad play because you lose it, but Sheffield right there does a good job of letting everyone know that he doesn't see it. And Torrey Hunter did a great job of knowing that no one saw it, and he took off for third base. Look at Cairo hustling all the way out there to get the ball. Bernie Williams was also coming. Look at the recognition of Torrey Hunter, and he's off to the races.
Torrey Hunter, who had deked, or at least attempted to deke Jeter earlier. Now at third base as Koski sends one to left. Hunter ready to tag. Matsui's got it. And the Minnesota Twins are on top.
With just 71 RBIs on the season, has driven in 100 for these Twins. As you look at the split screen here, Hunter with a great jump. No chance of getting him with his speed. And Koski getting the job done at the plate, driving in the run. The way he's supposed to do it, that spot in the order.
Now Lou Ford. The Twins with a pair of sacrifice flies have a 2-1 lead on the Yankees here in Game 4.
Steve, Josh, I'm located in the camera well down the right field side near where Gary Sheffield is. The ball, when it went way up towards the Metrodome roof, it went up by a set of lights that are not turned on. So it was difficult to see for Sheffield. It looked like it went in front of those lights and then cleared underneath. So it wasn't just popped up on the white ceiling of the Metrodome. It was a tough angle, and the set of lights that are not turned on could have been a problem for Sheffield.
That's what you look at when you look up at the ceiling. Number one, it's very light colored. It looks like a baseball, and then you see all those holes in the ceiling as well that kind of mimic a baseball as well. Try to look into that bank of lights and try to catch something. It gets a little difficult as well.
Now Christian Guzman. Strike one. We asked earlier, where's that a home field advantage for the Minnesota Twins? Found it.
Yeah.
That one sporting outside the Guzman. I think it's interesting, too, Steve. Vasquez had not walked a batter all day. And we had mentioned earlier, he very seldom walks a leadoff man in any inning. That was just the 10th time all year. Hunter drew the leadoff walk here in the 4th. And he has come on in to score the tie-breaking run. The 4th inning last year in Game 4 is where it all went horribly wrong for the Minnesota Twins. They gave up a 6 spot. Santana was the guy that was victimized. But in the 4th inning this year, Santana tiptoed out of trouble, left 2 on in the top of the inning.
Hey, look how that run scored. It was the leadoff walk that hurt him, but it's not like Vasquez has been getting hit hard in this inning. Wow.
Yeah, that's the second time Guzman has had that kind of swing against that pitch.
It's almost like an eephus breaking ball. He's taken a lot off it, just floated up there. And look at Guzman way out in front. It's been the trouble of his offensive skills his entire career is that he can't keep his feet under him. Such a great story Guzman is, though. Didn't even play baseball until he was 15 years old. Signed at 16. Took $5,000 to play for the Yankees. Traded over to the Minnesota Twins in the deal that sent Chuck Knobloch to the Yankees. Took classes at a community college to help him with his English.
Yeah, and the Twins these last few years hoping they could get into the World Series for many reasons, Steve. I think one of them, they would love to provide the national stage for this guy. You never hear about him in a league of Jeters and Tejadas. He has been a solid player for these Twins.
You have Kadire playing second base because Rivas, the injury to his elbow. A lot this year has been said about the up the middle combination of the Los Angeles Dodgers with Cora and his tourists. Some of the more slick fielding infielders you'll ever see, but Rivas and Guzman up the middle for these Twins are equally as unbelievable to watch defensively.
Guzman walks, and the inning continues. In some trouble in the air here at the Metrodome.
The decoy, and then the irony of that decoy as Hunter's on first base, and then Sheff can't find it.
Lost in space. And the second Minnesota run of this Game 4 coming in when Coffey had the sac fly to get a Hunter across.
That's the type of at-bat right there that really worries the Yankees. Vasquez walking Guzman, who Guzman right now looks clueless at the plate. Can't afford to walk him. Bring Kadire up here, is hitting .500 for the series.
Although Kadire was up a couple times with 2 men on yesterday early in the game, a chance to get the Twins, I guess at that point, back in it. The Yankees had an early 3-1 lead yesterday. Here's another chance to come through with 2 on. Now remember, including the postseason, Minnesota has lost 22 of its last 26 against the New York Yankees. From 4-22, they now need to quickly go 2-0. There's some sizzle on that fastball, but it's not getting over. 2-1 the count.
Hey, he is really struggling with his location right now. I mean, they're hoping he can get out of this inning. Here comes Mel Stottlemyre to talk to him, but I would not be surprised to see someone starting to stir around in that bullpen for the Yankees. Stottlemyre's just coming out right now saying, look, get out, throw a ground ball right here, get out of this inning. Maybe we can regroup for the next one.
And as they talk baseball, we remind you about football. Fox NFL Sunday returning with a doubleheader, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. Then the Giants and the Cowboys renew their bitter rivalry. Both teams trying to keep their winning streaks alive. Then the Rams going up against the undefeated Seahawks in Seattle. Or other regional action. Minnesota, the Vikings on the road at Houston. Fox NFL Sunday begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific in Fox Sports High Definition. Second pitch of this inning. Vasquez could have held it together through a rough first inning. That strike him out, throw him out double play was key.
That pitch nowhere close. This is where it gets very difficult, and you have to have a lot of discipline as a hitter. 3-1 count with a chance to drive in runs. You want to come out of your shoes, but right now you don't have any confidence that the pitcher can throw the ball over the plate. Last thing you want to do right here is swing at a bad pitch. It's got to be middle in, dead red. Breaking ball.
He flipped it right in there. And Blanco's on deck. Henry Blanco has never really come close to hitting Vasquez. Had a horrible at bat in the third inning. I would think you don't want to let Kadire now with the runners going have anything too big and juicy to get a hold of here, even if it means a walk. A chopper. Vasquez has to get over there. He does. And the inning is over. Minnesota's got the lead in Game 4. We'll return after a word from your local Fox station.
I'll get delirious whenever you need it. You gotta think of
The soundtrack from a Minneapolis native. Is he Prince or the artist formerly known as Prince now? I can't even keep that straight.
I think he's back to being Prince after being a symbol for a while.
That's what you need, is a symbol. A-Rod against Johan Santana. 2-1 Minnesota in Game 4. Don't forget, later tonight on Fox, when this one is over, you'll see the Dodgers and the Cardinals. Game 3 of that series. The Twins are hoping for Game 5 in the Bronx tomorrow. Alex Rodriguez arrived in New York just before spring training. Steinbrenner piling more hotels on Park Place and on Broadway on this Major League Monopoly board. 8 big league players, Steve, with $100 million contracts. The Yankees employ 4 of the 8. And he is trying to prove, Alex Rodriguez is, that he is not just icing on the cake. Game 2, he went a long way towards proving, yes, he can get a big hit in a big game.
I think that's where, for a lot of Yankee fans, A-Rod finally arrived as a Yankee.
Pinstripe coming out party. Rips and misses here.
See, this is what makes Santana tough. He can run that fastball up in the strike zone and then come back with a pitch that looks exactly the same. That happens to be the changeup. Up around the letters. And because you have the changeup in the back of your mind, you can't catch up with that fastball.
Up and away, he has walked Alex Rodriguez for the second time today. We go to Jeannie Zelasco, standing by for a game break.
And the new Killer Bees are back in Beltran, as in Carlos, who got the day started with a 2-run shot. Brannon pitched 6 solid innings in his postseason debut, and the Astros now 1 win away for their first postseason series victory ever. The Dodgers 1 win away from elimination at the hands and bats of the Cardinals. They are getting ready at Dodger Stadium. Game 3 of the NLDS. It is coming up next on Fox.
Lima time. Big start for Jose Lima.
A shot in the arm he has been for that organization this year.
I enjoyed his singing on the pregame show, too. cut. Down 0-1.
Oh, man. Can you imagine how hard this guy would swing if his shoulder didn't hurt? Goodness.
Steve, that swing you saw moments ago, Sheffield told me before the game, that's when his left shoulder that's been hurting him so much bothers him the most. When he swings and misses, he had the cortisone shots before the playoffs. He said they have worn off. He takes medication each day, but it wears off by the time the evening rolls around. And I asked him, I said, well, if it hurts when you swing and miss, how do you handle the pain? He said, well, I just can't swing and miss. I need to swing and connect.
Chris, you kidding me? When he swings and misses, it hurts my shoulders.
Two vicious swings here. And he is down 0-2.
I just think the amazing thing about Sheffield and what he's been able to accomplish in his career is that he rarely gets fooled and swings that hard.
Yes, he did.
Got fooled there.
6 strikeouts for Santana.
It's the changeup down in the dirt. Jeff offers at it and can't hold up.
Boy, this has been a rough 10 minutes for Gary Sheffield. First, the ball that he lost, leading to the run in the bottom of the 4th. Now the strikeout. With this particular part of the Yankee batting order, it's tough not to wander into that Yankees versus Minnesota seen as a morality play kind of thing. Big market versus small market. Runner goes. Blanco fires. Head first slide.
Timeout. Call timeout.
Alex Rodriguez not only calls timeout, he calls his second base umpire politely by his first name.
Well, Rodriguez stole this base off of Santana. Very slow delivery. Blanco, great quick footwork, but throw off to that side of the bag there a little bit. Really had no chance. Look at the jump. Rodriguez going on very first move of Santana. We're going to throw on the third base side of second base. No chance of getting A-Rod. He kicked some dirt up in his own eye with that slide.
Again, there's your emblem for this referendum on big market versus small market. Alex Rodriguez out there at second base. Remember last year with the #1 payroll site that the Yankees lost the World Series to the #25 payroll. And forget about any lessons learned. The Yankees went out, just spent more is the answer to that.
When you think about today's matchup with Javier Vasquez on the mound for the Yankees, they really made the decision to basically trade Vasquez for Pettit. That Pettit signed with the Houston Astros. They take that money and sign Vasquez.
From Japan, Matsui. I think the stamp of big market versus small market will be on this series as long as these two teams keep getting after it. And Steve, forget payroll. The Yankees souvenir playoff program is $10. Here at the Metrodome, the Twins is $3.
And the Homer Hankies are free, aren't they?
They're being waved right now with a couple of strikes on Matsui. Now once again, Santana tries to drive Matsui off the plate. Matsui 8 of 16 lifetime now against Johan Santana.
Yeah, Josh, we're talking about just adding payroll. When you think about how Vasquez got to the Yankees as well in the trade with Nick Johnson, Juan Rivera, Randy Choate, none of those guys making very big money, and then they have to turn around and sign Vasquez for the 4-year, $45 million deal.
Worth every penny he's getting here in Minnesota.
Just a masterful job of changing location and changing speeds. Look at that pitch. Change up down. After backing Matsui off the plate with the fastball up and in. Boy, for the people who have not seen Johan Santana on the national stage, and a pretty good idea why he should win the Cy Young this year.
Striking out Sheffield and Matsui back-to-back with the runner at second base. Williams with a chop. Guzman. Got it. In the bottom of the fifth, and Henry Blanco gets a shave from a Javier Vazquez.
That's what you call a little chin music right here. Look out. Now, luckily for most players, your head is the easiest thing to get out of the way. The only time a guy gets hit in the head with a pitch is if he loses sight of that pitch.
Losing sight of a baseball is very much why the Minnesota Twins are leading right now. Gary Sheffield couldn't find a fly ball from Justin Morneau. And the Twins grab the lead in the fourth. The Twins with a pair of sac flies today. One in the first, then one in the fourth. The Yankees got their run in the third. Derek Jeter scored on a base hit by Matsui. The Twins can hope for is that winner-take-all Game 5 at Yankee Stadium tomorrow night. This after they were 2 outs away from going up 2-0, remember. Blanco drills it to left. Blanco hits it out. Psycho, we had mentioned Vazquez, who's had a problem with the home run ball. You didn't figure it would be Blanco.
What a godsend he's been for this team, though, when you think about it. They trade A.J. Pierzynski because of the presence of Joe Mauer, the heralded rookie that they had, a local kid, first-round draft pick. As you look at the pitch, right down Broadway, and Blanco hammers it. Had 10 home runs on the season, hit right around 200 all year. But without him, where would they be? Handles the pitching staff very well, throws the ball behind the plate very, very well. Mauer comes up and gets hurt.
And Steve, before that swing, Blanco had been 1 of 13 lifetime against Vazquez with 7 strikeouts. The one back in the third made him look silly.
Well, his second hit was a big one.
That was the fear regarding Vazquez. Get too much of the plate. He did right there, and Blanco made him pay. And the thing about Blanco that's remarkable, he's only been catching for 8 years. He was an infielder coming up with the Dodgers.
Now, here's the problem. If you're looking at a two-seam fastball and you want it off the outer part of the plate, watch it run right back out over the middle. If you miss with that pitch, you have to miss off the plate away, because that thing tails right back into Blanco's wheelhouse.
Grounder to third, Alex Rodriguez. 1 out, 5th inning. The Yankees, the team that hit the 242 home runs this past regular season. And with the A-Rods, the Sheffields, the Matsuis, the Jeters, you figured that if there was going to be mashing in this series, it would come from guys like that. Not from Blanco of the Minnesota Twins. Jones 1 for 2.
Doc Jones growing up outside of San Diego, where his mother used to work at a Kentucky Fried Chicken, where Tony Gwynn used to come in and get food every once in a while. And she said, keep your eye on my son. He's going to be a good one. Jones later got to meet Gwen. They worked out occasionally together.
Jacques' mom and Jacques' dad split when he was young. It took a while for Jacques to reconcile with his dad, Hardy Jones, who just passed away. It has been obviously a very trying week, an exhausting week mentally for Jacques. And he says, yeah, it's tough. These are the biggest games of my life. It's tough to stay focused. And similarly, Steve, he found himself at his dad's funeral, he admits, sometimes with his mind wandering to this series. He says that goes both ways.
Right. Been very appreciative of the Polat family, who supplied a jet for him to get back and forth across the country.
Down on strikes here.
That's an at-bat I think he wished he had back. He had a couple good pitches to hit. That's a fastball up in the zone that he can't catch up with. He took one right down the middle and swung through another fastball. Those are the type of at-bats where you go back wondering how you missed it.
Now the fan favorite, Torrey Hunter. He got the scoring started with the sac fly in the first. And we talked earlier, Steve, about this whole climb on my back mentality. That's what Kirby Puckett told his Minnesota teammates back in 1991. They were faced with elimination. It was Puckett who homered against the Braves to force World Series Game 7. And he literally said before Game 6, climb on my back, fellas. I got you. Torrey Hunter and Kirby Puckett have stayed close. They have talked, Torrey Hunter says, about every day heading down the stretch.
It's one thing to have the ability to be that type of player, but then have the guts to stand in front of your teammates and say, look at me, I'm the guy.
That one farms up the corner.
Well, you talk to Torrey Hunter about his ability in the game and what he's been able to accomplish through baseball, and first things out of his mouth, he said, my family. Happy that all three of my brothers are working and safe. Grew up in one of the roughest areas down in Arkansas as you'll ever want to see. Moved all three of his brothers to Texas, putting two of them through school.
Trying to help force Game 5. The series is 2-1 New York. But our score today, 3-1 Twins. Looper, left field, base hit. Hunter screeching on the brakes. He had eyes for second, but remember yesterday, he was thrown out trying to advance, and now the fans were getting on him a little bit. Some of the newspaper writers got on him for the daring base running, so he plays it safe here.
I love this, though. As soon as he sees it hit, he knows it's in a bad area. In the old turf, that ball would have bounced up so high that he could have gone to second. Look at him coming around first, thinking about going to second. Plenty of time to put on the brakes. With the old turf here, that ball would have bounced so high that he would have easily got into second base because it would have taken so long to come back down. Those are the kind of doubles I used to get when I played here.
Now, did you ever lose one in the lights through the roof when you played here?
No, but I did come here with the White Sox when Darryl Boston was playing center field, as you look at the pickoff, and I was playing right field. Greg Gagne was the shortstop for the Twins at the time, and in a three-game series, he hit 2 inside-the-park home runs and a triple, all on fly balls to center field that Darryl Boston couldn't find. I had to go pick them up, and I was the right fielder. easy to have happen here. Generally, though, as you talk to guys like Torrey Hunter and guys that have played the outfield here many times, Bernie Williams, you usually lose the ball if you have to turn and run on a ball and then turn back to pick it up again. You don't generally lose just a lazy pop fly. That's what happened today.
That's what Morneau appeared to have hit. You're right. That one bending in there to Justin Morneau. Yeah, big play in the game with Torrey Hunter having coaxed the leadoff walk in the fourth. Morneau lofting one in right. Sheffield apparently never saw it. Pitching out, and we mentioned earlier, although Vasquez doesn't allow a lot of steals, Torrey Hunter, one of the few that's done it to him this season. And as Chris Myers reported, the Twins thought maybe they could be more active today against Vasquez than in the prior experience. The thought being Vasquez is so worried about his mechanics, maybe he'll not pay as much attention to guys at first.
And Hunter has to be careful, too. He's stole 21 bases this year. He got thrown out 7 times. He does not have blazing speed. I think people look at his ability as a defensive outfielder. He does play deeper than a lot of center fielders, gets great jumps, and he's a human highlight film. But he's not a blazer. Very aggressive on the bases. Right around the 20 to 25 stolen base mark is what he's going to get every year, and not many more.
Hunter, one of those 2 regular season steals against Vasquez.
Amazing thing is that not too many people try it.
Morneau rolls it. Cairo stops it. But Morneau is at first and Torrey Hunter's at second.
He is a good-looking young player. He hit 19 home runs this year in just 74 games. Hits it in that 2-hole. The guy on first base, a lot of room for hits over there. The first baseman holding the runner on.
No action in the Yankee bullpen. It has not been any this afternoon. You just talked about Daryl Boston. Let's get you to the Boston Red Sox here, Steve. Our Budweiser fantasy player. How about David Ortiz in walk-off style yesterday? Log on to foxsports.com. Keyword fantasy baseball. Today's game brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. And it is ALCS time for the Sox.
I don't know if you could ask for the guy who hit the game-winning home run to be a better guy. What an experience he's had since leaving this Twins team to go to the Red Sox. David Ortiz has become an MVP-type player.
Corey Kosky, the Minnesota hitter. He is thrilled.
You better get somebody up now.
Second time Kosky has been hit by a pitch in this series.
Kosky doesn't care. He's a former goalie. Look at this ball is nowhere near the strike zone. Now, he might have been better off getting that elbow out of there and letting it hit him off the hip.
Well, that's your third baseman for the Minnesota Twins, Corey Kosky.
It's amazing when you think Kosky really, baseball is third best sport. Junior level hockey player in Canada. The MVP of the Canadian national volleyball team.
But he's going to need that right elbow to hurt people out today, well, and maybe tomorrow.
If he could have got that elbow out of the way and took that ball off the upper part of his rear end, it would have hurt a lot worse, or a lot less, I think. Caught that thing right on the corner of the elbow.
The Yankees will get action in the bullpen for the first time. Lou Ford is coming up. The bases are loaded. Lou Ford was just one of 12 with the bases loaded during the regular season. There isn't anybody that will remember that if he hits the hole to one right here.
You know, Josh, I remember back in the '87 playoffs when they used to bring the decibel meter here to this stadium and to judge how loud it got. They said it was like sitting next to a jet airplane. But now the popular thing here in Minnesota is the Homer Yankees, which I believe actually makes the crowd less noisy because they spend less time clapping their hands
and more time waving.
Yes.
Yeah. In there, 0-2.
So a cut fastball right there.
You hear now is Lou, not Boo. They're looing for Lou Ford, who crushes it to left field. 2 Minnesota Twins are in on a double by Lou Ford.
That's just a huge mistake pitch by Vasquez right there. A hanging breaking ball that just said, hit me all over it. Watch the location, 0-2, right in his eyes. And just a cement mixer breaking ball. All it does is spin and doesn't break. Morneau on his horse, easily scoring. Toy Hunter in front of him. And Ford happy about it.
Yep, forget that 1 for 12 regular season stuff. This is the big time. Now Guzman. Esteban Loaiza has joined Quantrill in the Yankee bullpen, as it's begun to get away now from Javier Vasquez.
Ron Gardenhire was telling us if there's anybody on my club that we have to pay attention to, it is Lou Ford. Tends to lose track of what's going on out there sometimes. The smart kid, he scored 1,400 on his SAT test. But there are a million stories about Fordisms, different things that he's done that are a little, shouldn't we say, off the beaten path there a little bit. Had to go see the trainer one time because he has a burn mark on his chest because he tried to iron his shirt while he was still wearing it.
Even you never did that.
No.
And I don't think you scored no 1,400 on those SATs.
Not even close. Guzman looking to do more damage here with 2 outs. A couple more insurance runs in this situation if he can just stay back on the steady diet of breaking balls that he's been getting from Vasquez.
Slicing this one out of play.
Josh, this is the best pitch that Guzman's seen all day in order to do some damage with. Fastball right down the middle. He's even out in front of that one. Be very surprised if he sees another fastball in this at-bat. Breaking ball in the dirt.
Strike 3 taken, but a big inning. The beginning of the inning was Henry Blanco hitting one out. We'll take you to break with the artist either formerly or currently known as Prince. The Division Series on Fox brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. Also by WebMD, redefining modern medicine. And by Rico, how well do you share? Well, this game now has taken a turn in a couple of ways. The Twins have the lead of 5-1, but what you're seeing here is Johan Santana leaving. He is done after 87 pitches, and with the score 5-1 Minnesota, I tell you either Vasquez or Santana is still in the game in the 6th, and it's Vasquez. That's a little weird. Of course, if we had said that one of those guys was an all-star this year, you also would have picked Santana, but he was not. Vasquez was. Here is Grant Balfour.
Well, that is rather surprising to me to see Santana out of the game at this point after 87 pitches.
Balfour, though, immediately gets Posada. The chop out to short. Now, Santana on 3 days rest. Maybe not at his best, but he was very good.
Hey, he was outstanding. I mean, 4 of his last 6 outs were strikeouts. And it's possible that maybe he felt tired or got a little twinge, and you see the package of him just mowing through the Yankee hitters there. I mean, it's not like he's going to come back and pitch tomorrow if they can force a Game 5. Maybe Gardenhire just thought he was done, out of gas, ready to go. Confidence in his bullpen.
I mean, if that's the case, you certainly ended with a flourish. He struck out Sheffield and he struck out Matsui with A-Rod at second base. And remember, at that point, Alex Rodriguez was the tying run.
Yep.
Recent history tells you that starters on 3 days rest are kind of up against it. But then again, Johan Santana is not your average starter. He is your probable Cy Young Award winner. All the to-do, all the chest thumping about how can Jack McKeon start Josh Beckett on 3 days rest in the World Series. Game 6 against the Yankees, that worked out fine.
Look at that, since '99. That's why guys don't generally start on 3 days rest. They're not that successful.
Sierra trying to check his swing, and he did.
See the call down there by Charlie Rutherford. It looked like he was going to ring him up.
Balfour, the hard-throwing Australian. It is not easy to hit Ruben Sierra. As a matter of fact, it's about impossible to hit Ruben Sierra. He has not been hit by a pitch since the early 1990s. It's been a dozen years since Sierra's been hit by a pitch.
Hard to do.
I would think so. Let's go to Chris Myers real quick.
Yeah, Josh, Steve, Johan Santana, as surprised as anyone to be out of the game. Physically, he feels fine. I saw him in the tunnel on the way back from the dugout. He said his manager told him that was too long an inning for him. He said physically he's fine. I said, would you rather still be out there? He said, heck yeah.
As it should be. It's the Gardenhire decision.
Good stuff, Chris. Thank you. Ground ball here, second base. If this bullpen can get through, I mean, so far so good. Balfour, a couple of ground ball outs, and you get it to Joe Nathan, who now has had some time to rest. Indeed, this could work out, but boy, Ron Gardenhire obviously, Steve, opens himself wide open if things get away in the 6th or the 7th inning.
Well, you just like to see your starter go more than 5 innings, especially when he was mowing guys down. I'll tell you what, you just cannot argue with the way that guy has managed his club and brought him 3 straight division titles and reinvented this team along the way. We talk about losing guys like Rick Reed and Joe Mays out for the season, Eric Milton leaving, LaTroy Hawkins leaving, everyday Eddie Guardado gone, Mankiewicz and Kaczynski also gone off this club, and then right back and winning the division again. That guy has done a tremendous job.
So is the GM, Terry Ryan.
Outstanding. Ryan and Gardenhire go back to their Met days when Ryan was head of scouting. Gardenhire was a wannabe manager.
when it looked like the Twins were going to be contracted for 2002, Terry Ryan told every member of the Twins front office team that they were free to pursue other employment. Not a single one of them left.
Wow.
A lot of people liked working for this franchise. The players, obviously, they want to give back to Terry Ryan and company now. Move on to the ALCS.
But one thing about Balfour, I really like the way he's going about his business right here. Gets the ball, gets up on the mound, and throws it. Keeps your defense on their toes. He's throwing strikes. Fans are into it.
Friends here?
All of them.
Balfour brings it down the left field line from Olerud. It's almost like the fans were willing Lou Ford to don the Superman cape and stretch out and grab that one somehow.
They give him the Lou chant right now. Another one of his little quirks. The first time they did that, he scored a run and they all started chanting Lou, and he came in and asked someone why they were booing him.
Well, the Yankees with that come from behind effort in game 2. Down 4 runs in game 4. Hunter. No sweat. Minnesota leads it. In game 4, it's 5-1. Esteban Loaiza started last year's All-Star game on Fox. It has not gone as well in 2004 at all. He is in now in the 6th inning. Vasquez done after 5.
Loaiza, a serious Cy Young candidate last year, tailed off towards the end of the season for the Chicago White Sox. Has had a dreadful time with the Yankees after coming over to wear the pinstripes. 1-2 with the Yankees with an 8.50 ERA.
One and one to Michael Kadire, and he rips it into left center field. Kadire, the only Twin that did not bat in the 3-run 5th inning. He starts out the 6th quite nicely. And beginning this weekend, Oscar De La Hoya, the next great champ, moving to their next home, their new home on FSN. It all starts this weekend with an encore presentation of the first 4 shows and continues next weekend with a brand new episode, The Next Great Champ, with Oscar De La Hoya, now on FSN.
You know, one of the things that must be very difficult for Joe Torre to deal with as he looks at his Yankee club and the situation they're in right now.
Blanco, who homered last inning. He was up there showing bunt this time.
Yeah. Now Gardenhire trying to get as many runs as he can. You get a 5-1 lead right now. Going back to that thought about Torre, and this is a team that has more come from behind wins than anybody. You're in the playoffs right now, but at what point do you start to think about a possible Game 5 and making sure your team's ready for that? Loaiza in the game pitching right now. Some Yankee fans may be questioning that move, as they all know how Loaiza has fared for the Yankees.
Just an absolute nightmare for Loaiza. Nice scoop by Olerud over there at first. But as you mentioned, viable Cy Young stuff last year. I mean, if I tell you heading into last year, Esteban Loaiza is going to win more games than Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson combined last year, you're going to think I'm nuts. But you can look it up. He did.
Well, he came up with a hard sinker, and this year the ball has just not been sinking for him like it did last year. Guys have caught up. He's a sinker-slider type pitcher, and the ball just has not had the movement that it did last year.
And it seems like the opposition is, I guess, willing to wait him out a little more, too. He led the league in strikeouts last year. 207 and 206 over Pedro. Having a tough time putting guys away, though, here in 2004. Vasquez went 5 innings, allowed 7 hits and 5 runs. Boy, and against the Twins now this year, Vasquez, 15 runs allowed in 18 innings against Minnesota.
You see the numbers with the White Sox last season.
Pitch out, runner goes. Blanco throwing his bat at the ball, and that didn't work out real well for Minnesota.
He just tosses his bat out there trying to get a piece of it. Goes flying past Posada.
Hey, man, whatever you got to do, you know. Look at this.
I can't remember the last time I saw a guy actually throw his bat at the ball. Posada, great concentration just to get the throw down to Jeter and get the out.
And a 1-2 count on Blanco. Fouls it away.
I guess there would be no real question of whether or not he went.
Right. And Jeter did get the tag down that time on Kadire. Remember, there was that phantom tag back in the first inning. There have been some strange things that have happened in this game. Gary Sheffield losing that ball either in the bank of lights or in the white roof of this Metrodome.
That play right there, which was very strange because you have Kadire on the run, but Blanco's still trying to bunt. So I don't know if that was a missed sign of a hit and run.
And maybe oddest of all, this is not to dismiss the talent of Henry Blanco, but 18 hitters in this game. I'd tell you only one's going to have a home run. I don't think Henry Blanco is your first guess. Fouls that one hard into the crowd. The 7-pitch at bat.
Hanging in there.
Oh, you look at some of the Yankee home run hitters. A veteran Yankee team, obviously. Blanco unloads again with foul. You know, this Yankee lineup, Steve, has about 30,000 more Major League at-bats than Minnesota's, and that's not including Matsui spending all that time in Japan playing professionally.
That was one of the reasons why this team's so successful offensively is their experience. One of the reasons why they can adjust to the way people are pitching them. We talked about the fact that the Yankees are very patient at the plate, but in this series have been very aggressive because the Twins have been known to go right at the hitters early in the count to try to get ahead. These guys have been playing the game long enough to know the difference between when someone's going to be going at you or trying to work around you a little bit more.
Boy, we will see an 11th pitch of this at-bat. We talked about Loiza's inability to finish off hitters this year. Blanco making him work right now with one out in the 6th inning.
I think for Loiza, it's been harder for him to get the hard sinking action on the fastball, and his slider isn't breaking the way it used to either, so he can't get the slider real hard and off the plate to get someone to chase it.
He finally wins out. What an at-bat for Henry Blanco. Let's go to Jeannie Velasco. She's got a game break.
Larry Walker's favorite number is 3, so you know he is enjoying today. If his Cardinals get the 3rd win today in Game 3, they will advance to the NLCS. First things first, Cardinals and Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Coming at you next on Fox.
And also Matt Morris time, although you very seldom see Matt Morris singing in any pregame shows.
And you very seldom see your ace going in Game 3, which is Matt Morris basically is for that staff.
Stewart has to lean out of the way.
And woo, you can start hearing the baseball coming at you right about that point.
Shannon Stewart has been held in check for the most part in this series, Steve, but in the one regular season series between these teams here, Shannon Stewart was a human tornado. He was 10 for 14. 6 extra base hits. And he has worked the count to 3-0. Jacques Jones would come up next. Now remember, Santana is out of the game for the Minnesota Twins. 87 pitches, 5 innings, and bye-bye. I would think any runs you can pick up now if you're the Minnesota Twins, helping you to step on the throats of the Yankees, that's okay.
Yeah.
Fouled away.
I think Gardenhire wants to make sure that his team offensively continues to stay aggressive. He had Kadire getting thrown out at second base, but an aggressive play. Now Stewart, another one of those guys that I talked about earlier, where does not use speed as part of his game as much as he used to. I mean, he stole 51 bases in 1998. 6 this season.
Runner goes, and there's a high fly down the right field line. Olerud able to find it. Two out, 6th inning, in today's WebMD injury update, focusing on El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, and that tired right shoulder that prevented him from making a start either yesterday or today. Check your own symptoms with WebMD's Symptom Checker at symptom.webmd.com. Now remember, the Yankees left Jason Giambi off the roster. El Duque on the roster, and the question is, will he at some point in this series be able to throw a pitch?
They weren't too optimistic. You look at Jason Giambi not on the roster. Amazing as that may be.
Jones, base hit. Blanco scoots to third, and Torrey Hunter coming up.
Right down the middle again. This is just an easy pitch to hit. Eliza, as we've talked so far since he's been in the game, if he's not picture perfect, he's going to get hit hard.
No action in the New York Yankee bullpen. As again, the Twins are looking to peel away here. Already up 5-1 and trying to take an even more commanding lead. Another high pop, foul ground. Olerud will get Loaiza out of the inning. So it stays 5-1. We'll return to Minneapolis after a word from your local Fox station. The must-have game 4 for the Minnesota Twins. They're up by 4. Johan Santana, 5 solid innings. Not spectacular, but very solid. Steve Santana's favorite English phrase is believe it. Well, believe it. It is looking good for Minnesota right now. That's if the bullpen can shoulder the load these last 3 innings.
Gotta like the way Balfour's come out here and done his business. Coming right out the hitters, throwing strikes. A little bit easier to do that with a 5-1 lead, 5-1 lead rather. But at the same time, this guy gets the ball, gets back on the mound, and goes to work.
He faces Cairo here, and the big kids are about to get out of school in just a moment. Jeter, Rodriguez, Sheffield coming up after this. Juan Rincon getting ready. Straight heat from the native Australian, Mr. Balfour. A little shoulder-high cheese here for Cairo.
Whoa.
Tried to paint that corner, didn't get it.
Well, he wanted it, didn't he? I mean, I just love the way the kid's working. Mostly fastballs, pretty tough pitch there. That one could have gone either way.
That one sends Cairo back to the dugout. And the move by Gardenhire to get Santana out after 5 is looking okay thanks to Balfour.
He's just flat out bringing some country heat. No messing around.
From the Metrodome, Game 4. The Twins hoping to force Game 5, which would be on Fox in the Bronx tomorrow. Josh Lewin with Steve Lyons and Chris Myers. Derek Jeter has the Yankee run. That was back in the third. It was a 1-1 tie going into the bottom of the fourth. Gary Sheffield lost a fly ball, either in the roof or that bank of lights. The Twins were able to scrape a run out of it. Then they tacked on 3 in the fifth. All the runs off Javier Vazquez. Now the top of the order trying to shake things up. Derek Jeter's parents watching on. The Yankees do not have a hit since the fourth inning. But as we've talked about, Steve, if there's going to be some Yankee magic in this game, they're going to put up that rally that they've been putting up so many times this year. You figure Jeter, in some way, is going to be in the middle of it.
Getting on base somehow, getting to the big bangers in the middle of that lineup, and having someone come up with a 3-run homer to get him back in it. Kind of been the MO of the Yankees, as you talked about, leading the league in home runs, leading the world in home runs. They could put a 4 or 5 spot on you in any inning at any time.
Whip, and down he goes.
He's fired up. This kid's throwing nothing but gas. And why not? Right now he's saying, you can't hit it. I'm just bringing it. And no one's come close yet. Why change anything? Tardy. Well, you love to see that out of a middle guy who comes in after a performance that Santana gives you, and everyone's kind of crossing your fingers saying, we got to get to Nathan somehow. And this kid comes in here and just starts blowing people away.
A guy who wears ball 4 right on the back of his jersey is throwing nothing but strikes. Once again, he hops ahead of a very good hitter.
I don't know if he has a breaking ball. We haven't seen it. I mean, if he sticks with his plan, he runs this fastball right up around the numbers for A-Rod to see if he can climb the ladder on him. There's a little slider.
Yeah, 88 miles an hour of a little slider. That's some guy's fastball.
Now go back upstairs.
The pop-up. And Balfour in Game 4. Outstanding. The Division Series on Fox, brought to you by Coors Light, the coldest tasting beer in the world. By Nike. And by HP. Welcome to HP Digital Photography. Click, print, invent. Justin Morneau puts the first one in play here in the bottom of the 7th. 1 pitch, 1 out. Ron Gardenhire lifted his starter, his ace, his Cy Young winner, most likely. Johan Santana was gone after 5. On came Grant Balfour, and there were a lot of nervous looks exchanged, I think, around here at that point, Psycho. But Balfour has made Ron Gardenhire look very good. It is still a 5-1 game.
I think the point is that Ron Gardenhire has made this franchise look very good over the last 3 seasons as well.
Corey Koski was hit by a pitch last time, but that set up the Lou Ford bases loaded double.
Koski with another 25 home runs this season, made an adjustment in his swing over last year. A couple of months ago, dropped his hands down. He used to have them wrapped up over the top of his head almost. Makes it a little easier for him to get to the ball and be able to actually drive the ball the other way better. A lot of guys might shorten up their swing to be able to pull the ball. That's not been his problem.
There's a strike, 2-1. Koski nearly won things in New York in Game 2 with that opposite field double off the closer Mariano Rivera with the ball skipping out of play. It went as an automatic double. 1 run scoring and not 2. You know how that game turned out. The Yankees rallying on Joe Nathan. Opposite field again, but foul.
It's amazing when you think of the Yankees and an incredible run that they've had over the last decade or so. The games that they do come back and win when you feel like they're on the brink of elimination. You can go all the way back to the Jeffrey Mayer play in the Baltimore series in '96. The Jeter flip play from a couple of seasons ago against the Oakland A's. If he doesn't make that play, they do not move on. And that game right there, in this series, it would have been 2-0 Minnesota and very difficult for the Yankees to come back and win.
This is the 8-year anniversary of the Jeffrey Mayer game. He's now 20 years old, by the way.
Yeah. Tino Martinez grand slam against San Diego. Can almost go on and on and on with the games that the Yankees come back and win that maybe you think they shouldn't. And then they just go on and crush you after that.
Well, let me ask you, though, Psycho, is it aura and mystique is the cliche has come to be known by, or is it the fact that the Yankees have really, really good players who know how to do things when it matters?
I think it's absolutely both, led by that guy right there. There's no question. As we talked about before, one of the highest paid players in the game. I mean, they pay him a lot of money to lead that team. And he does it better than anybody else. But certainly they have the cream of the crop as well.
Koski. And what a play by Olerud. Short hops it and gets his man. Well, that ball was scorched off the bat of Corey Koski. John Olerud denied him.
As one of the best fielding first basemen of his era. Still can get it done. Good quick footwork. One step and a dive is all you have time for. Get up and take it yourself, John.
Lou Ford, the big double in the 5th.
You know, Josh, I think if you ask most baseball players, there'd be very few guys that could look you dead in the eye and say that at some point in their career they didn't wish they played for the Yankees somewhere. It is baseball.
Lou Ford, who was drafted by the Red Sox, now hoping to reunite, hoping to see the Red Sox in the ALCS. Today's game summary brought to you by Nissan. If it's going to be the Red Sox and the Twins have to win this one, and they have to win tomorrow. A game that would be seen tomorrow night on Fox. Santana, 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. And now it's up to the bullpen for the Minnesota Twins. Ford gets going. Posada firing down there. And that's it. Lou Ford, who was caught stealing only twice during the regular season, nailed right there. Johan Santana's in position for a win. The Minnesota Twins in position to go back to New York. Here's the 8th inning with Sheffield, Matsui, and Williams due up 3, 4, and 5 as Luis Rivas takes over at second base. Juan Rincon takes over on the mound. What a sterling 2 innings the Twins got from Grant Balfour. Another big cut from Gary Sheffield, who was 0 for 3 in this game. And he'll be addressing after the game to the media throng what happened out there in right field. Where did he lose the ball? Where did it go wrong for him back in the 4th inning?
The only thing he's going to be able to say is, I don't know.
That was a tie-breaking situation in the 4th. It's also the inning in which the Yankees have their most recent base hit, Steve. Single by Cairo in the 4th inning. It was 1-1, 2 men on, 2 men out. Santana struck out Derek Jeter, kept it 1-1. Now it is 5-1 Minnesota. And you had a good first vision on that one. You said it could well be. In fact, you said it would be the biggest at bat for Johan Santana this year and in his career. He struck out Jeter on a slider, and immediately the Twins went to work getting him some runs. Busted bat. Kofsky gets up, spins. Too late. And if the Yankees have a rally in them, if it happens here in the 8th, we'll look back and say it began on a broken bat from Sheffield.
Look at the business end of this bat. Now Kofsky knows he's going to go to his left and doesn't have to worry about it too much. And anytime a third baseman has to take 4 or 5 steps, then dive, your chances of throwing a guy out at first are slim. Nice effort. Chef still runs well enough to beat that out. Yeah, you think about how great Sheffield is, and as you watch the bat shatter again and him hustling all the way down the line. The playoffs have not been good to Chef. Yesterday, his first 2-hit game in his Major League playoff career.
Matsui's had a strong series. A parade of switch hitters coming up after Matsui. This one gets away. Sheffield is second.
It's the toughest pitch for a catcher to block. Fastball. I think it's well out in front of the plate. They've hung on to it too long.
Rincon had just 2 wild pitches during the regular season. He got into 77 games.
I like his record out of the pen.
Vultured what, 11 wins?
11 wins. 3rd on the team in wins. Never started a game all year. 11-6.
Another of the Twins' collection of just terrific Venezuelan-born pitchers. We've seen Santana today. That country produced an inordinate number of Major League pitchers with dynamite fastballs. Freddie Garcia, Francisco Rodriguez, the Zambranos, Carlos and Victor. Jorge Julio, the closer for the Orioles. Carlos Silva, yesterday's starter for the Twins from Bolivar, Venezuela. Now the count to Matsui. You've got Bernie Williams next. Bernie Williams launched a home run. That out to right field yesterday, though he also hit into a couple double plays yesterday. Now with 2 on, the Twins would certainly prefer the double play to the home run.
Now, even the Yankees would rather not see a home run right here. I really feel that in order to keep this rally alive, you need to keep runners on the bases. Here's you're going to see the home run from Bernie last night on a hit and run. That's really getting it done on a hit and run.
The hit and trot.
Yeah, exactly. Just dropped the head of the bat through the hitting zone there and hammered it. I asked Bernie where he feels better right now, hitting right or left-handed. And he hesitated, which is a great sign because he wasn't sure at first. That means you know that he feels good from both sides. But he said probably lefty right now, only because they get more at-bats.
You know, some are already writing off Bernie Williams for playing center field next year. He's 36 years old. And unless, Steve, they've signed Carlos Beltran, you could sure do a lot worse than a mid-30s Bernie Williams in your outfield.
no question. Spent a lot of time PHing this season as well. And to finish my point, I really believe that with a 5-1 lead that the Twins have right now, the Yankees are far better off keeping guys on base. Bernie hits a double, it's probably better than if he hits a home run. Keep guys on base, keep the pitcher in the stretch, keep the rally going. Hit a 3-run homer right now, you're back in the game, but you have to start over. In order to tie or win this game, someone's going to have to come up behind Bernie and drive him in anyway.
Just off the plate.
Josh, Steve, Bernie Williams mentioned before the game that his emotions race so high this time of year that mentally he has to talk himself down so he can relax, see the ball, hit the ball, and that's what's led to a lot of postseason home runs. He said that's how he provides the big moment. That's why the home runs come in these situations.
20 postseason home runs for Bernie Williams. This one is going to find right center. 1 run in. Matsui to third. It's runners at the corners, and the tying man is coming up in Jorge Posada.
Now you wouldn't mind seeing a home run if you're a Yankee fan. You keep the defense on their heels when you have guys on base. You keep the pitcher in the stretch. That's just a ball right down the middle that Bernie can handle easily.
Things were nice and calm. There had not been a Yankee hit since the 4th inning. They had been 0 for their last 10 coming into the 8th. But then the infield hit from Sheffield, the broken bat. Matsui, veteran at bat, he drew a walk. Williams, who had been 0 for 2 strikeouts against Rincon with a single. Nathan's up in the bullpen. When it became a 5-1 game, Steve, you mentioned it. The 61 of regular season come from behind wins for these New York Yankees.
And that's why I kind of mentioned for Joe Torre, I really believe it's a tougher job managing. I mean, in this situation, do you, well, not now, because you absolutely have a chance to get back in this ball game, but as a manager, do you start preparing your team for a possible Game 5 and making sure that you have the right people on the field when you want? Or a team that brings you 61 come from behind wins, do you kind of hang out and say, let's just keep going, guys. We still have a shot. This team is never technically out of a game.
Tough pitch right there.
That's a gutsy pitch to call. A slider down and in. Because if you miss, and you miss out over the plate, as you see Posada check swing, this was probably a called strike. Posada right now is thinking about pulling the ball up over the garbage bag in right field.
Posada with 21 home runs in the regular season. Looking for something to drive right here. Runners at the corners and still nobody out.
I think Rincon wants to try to keep the ball, or should want to try to keep the ball away from Posada and try to get him to pull a pitch on the ground for a double play.
Remember, the Yankees were killed by double plays in Game 1.
Right. Posada was looking for something else on that pitch, because that was just a fastball right down the middle. Liking some of the locations of these pitches. He's looking very, very hittable right now. Not that one.
Nope, nasty, and Posada's out of there.
That's the slider down and in, maybe a cut fastball. Didn't have a lot of break on it. Mariano Rivera, of course, with the cutter, has made it famous, and nobody does it better.
dangerous veteran hitter right here. Ruben Sierra just turned 39 years old. It really can still turn on that fastball down and in.
Much better location. Look at where Blanco's set up. Hits the glove. His last 2 pitches been outstanding. I think Posada's still thinking about that fastball that he took right down the middle.
Sierra's been on base twice in this game. Game 4. If the Twins win it, winner take all Game 5 in New York tomorrow on Fox.
Why would you go anywhere tomorrow? It's like a doubleheader of football on Fox and then the baseball game, isn't it?
Paradise.
Goodness.
Big cut.
Watch Sierra go after this pitch. The ball's away. He's trying to go out and hook it. He wants to pull the ball. Easiest place to hit the ball out of this park is into right field. You see the numbers not good lately for Sierra, but he is a one swing of the bat kind of guy. And he is thinking nothing but trying to hit the ball out of the park right now.
Just missed at 96 from Rincon. Olerud on deck. Joe Nathan has been warming in the pen, the closer. Sierra 13, 14 years ago, Steve, was talked about the way Vlad Guerrero is talked about now. The guy that just stings the ball, who can hit for average. Never reached the great heights that he was expected to reach. But a veteran who can give you a great at-bat. He mashes it. There it goes, deep right center, and this game is tied up. And it's like the cone of silence has descended on the Metrodome here. Sierra. Yeah, he can still do it.
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about. The only thing on his mind was to reach out and try to pull the ball into right center field. He hooked that pitch. That pitch looked to me like it was a little bit away from him, but he had no thought of going the other way. Well, that is why he's on this team, and he has come through time and time again in those type of situations.
He is the 6th different Yankee to homer in this series. Boy, he went out and got it.
That was bad location. It looked like the same type of slider that he had thrown to the other hitters and didn't get it in the location he wanted it.
Olerud fouls one away, and that comparison to Vlad Guerrero suddenly becomes appropriate. He had the big late-inning home run yesterday for a tie game in Boston.
Grand slam. Well, I tell you, the Yankees did it exactly the way you would draw it up. Keep guys on base, peck away, and then get the big blast to either tie it or put you ahead.
Olerud spins it into foul ground. Out of play. And boy, a couple things that you go back to, Steve. The inability as we've said, for the Twins to step on the throats of the Yankees when they were up 5-1, trying to get that 6th or 7th run. It never happened. And in a similar vein, got to give credit to Esteban Loaiza, the forgotten man out of the bullpen for the Yankees. He kept it at 5-1. And that come from behind sizzle of this New York Yankees team is at it again.
Wow. Rincon has just been scaring me just location-wise. The pitch to Posada that he took. That was supposed to be a slider down and in, it looked like to me, to Sierra. Ended up being backdoor and hammered.
Olerud whacks one deep into right center field. And John Olerud almost took one out. He's going to coast into second base. And the fans are getting all over Rincon. John Olerud was left for dead by the 99-loss Seattle Mariners. He comes to the New York Yankees. Another veteran like Ruben Sierra. And incredibly, although maybe not so incredibly, knowing what the Yankees have done all year, it is now 5-5. Ruben Sierra's 3-run homer off Juan Rincon ties it up 5-5. Bubba Crosby's pinch running at second for Olerud. And Joe Nathan is in the game. Juan Rincon, who had pitched 3 scoreless, hitless innings in this series. In a third of an inning here, 4 hits, 4 runs. And the runner at second, his responsibility with Cairo, the owner of some big postseason hits at the plate. Cairo, remember, started the uprising against Joe Nathan in Game 2 as he got a walk.
The 1.62 ERA, just a tremendous season for Joe Nathan coming over from the Giants. First time as a closer. Just brilliant.
Derek Jeter memorably scored the winning run in the 12th inning. Joe Nathan getting to 49 pitches. Uncharted territory as a closer, a third inning of work in that game. They need him for 5 outs here today. With the no tomorrow cliche firmly in place. And as good as Rincon had been going, Steve, pretty stunning. And remember, it all began with that busted bat infield hit by Sheffield.
Josh, you brought up the large market, small market difference, and maybe in Game 2 it was never more apparent down the stretch of that game when Joe Nathan was still on the mound for his 3rd inning, and Ron Gardenhire really didn't have much else to go to. A rookie in Jesse Crain, who had never been put in that situation in his life. J.C. Romero, who had not been throwing the ball very well, were his only other options. Gardy decided to stay with who had been his best pitcher all year, Joe Nathan.
Nathan strikes out Cairo.
Let's go back to the home run by Ruben Sierra and the pitch by pitch. Rincon was doing a good job staying away from his power. Now he gets a piece of one. Now watch the location of where Blanco's set up on the final pitch. He wants it down and in. It hangs out over the plate, and Sierra just tattoos it.
77 games for Rincon in the regular season, 3 more in the playoffs. Only once did he allow 4 runs in an inning. And now it happens to him here. And here's Jeter.
And you know that a guy like Jeter doesn't come through every time, but time after time after time, and why they pay him the big money is the situation that he's in right now.
A little roller up near third, and it kicks foul. Guzman. Got him at first, and the inning is over. But a 4-run at top of the 8th. 5-5 at the Metrodome. The Division Series on Fox brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. By new M3 Power from Gillette. Feel the power of the world's best shave. And by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. Bottom of the 8th. Flash Gordon comes on. And what is now, yes, a 5-5 game. Tony Clark into the game for Olerud at first. Olerud hit doubled. Crosby pinch ran for him. Tom Gordon pitched in game 2, which so far has been the most memorable game of this series. This one's looking pretty tasty right now. 5-5 in the 8th.
Now the Yankees right back to the setup that they want. Tom Gordon out there pitching now.
Guzman grounds it to second.
We talk so much about the Yankee experience in all aspects of the game. Number one, the veteran hitters that we've watched walk to the plate and the job that they've done. Sierra with a huge home run. But in their pitching staff as well. Paul Quantrill, been around for a long time, did a great job. People forget about Tommy Gordon. I mean, this is the guy who has the saves record for the Red Sox. 46 saves in Boston in 1998. Been in the pressure pack situations. Now sets up Mariano Rivera.
First at bat for Rivas, who came on for Kadire. Blanco with a home run. The only Twins home run today. You know, another thing that you think about right here, Steve. Joe Nathan, who was stretched out to the max, maybe a shade beyond it. Well, we're kind of heading down that road again right now. At the very least, needing to get 5 outs. Jeter at short. And 2 down. In the 9th inning, it's going to be Alex Rodriguez, Gary Sheffield, and Hideki Matsui. 2, 3, 4 in a dangerous Yankee batting order. Now, very soon, those of you in St. Louis and in L.A. will be leaving this game to see the first pitch of Game 3 between the Cards and the Dodgers, live from L.A. And for those of you around the country who want to see that, you'll be hopping on over to FX if you like. I know many of you will be keeping it right here, though. 5-5, 8th inning. And Jason Kubel, who has not had a lot to crow about yet in his first postseason. He just came up from AAA on September the 1st.
So again, in game 2, another example of what the Twins were able to do against the vaunted Yankees. I mean, they sent Kubel up, and this kid's a little hitting machine. But he got 60 Major League at-bats, and he was expected to go up and do some damage in that game 2 and was unable to do it. Struck out on a couple pitches over his head.
Now, one thing to dominate in Rochester, another thing to come on up with the Klieg lights of the postseason right on you. And at Yankee Stadium, find a way to hit Rivera.
Nasty. Still, even after Tommy John surgery, he still has that ridiculous breaking ball. Look at that thing drop off a table. Threw that one harder than he normally does. And he just has the definition of a 12-6 curveball.
Kubel launching it to right field. How about that? Into second base.
Right out over the middle of the plate. Kubel, as we talked about, this kid can hit. Stings that one into right center field. That's pretty.
A lot of upside you talked about it. The Twins like him a lot.
Had a funny little slide into second base. Almost looked like his body took a bad hop.
Top of the order now. Shannon Stewart. But it curls right to Jeter. The Twins are 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. A-Rod and then Sheffield when we come back.
New York City. Oh, yeah. New York City. I love New York City. Oh.
A 41-year-old catcher taking over now, Pat Borders, as we enter the 9th inning. Joe Nathan on the mound. And Alex Rodriguez. Remember what he did to Nathan in the 12th inning of game 2 of what is now almost an unforgettable series. The Twins and the Yankees. A-Rod 0 for his last 7 since what he did in game 2, which was this.
A double up off the wall to drive in the winning runs. Turn that game around for the Yankees. Boy, they had to come in here down 0-2.
A-Rod again to the alley off Nathan. And again it skipped out. He has done the exact same thing to the exact same closer. And the Yankees have the go-ahead man in scoring position, nobody out.
Thought that ball was just scalded. And the only reason it didn't get out of the park, he just didn't hit it high enough. He almost injured a fan out there as it skipped out. Look at that. Look at the picture-perfect swing, head down.
Looked like the same pitch, too, going back to game 2.
You stand next to Alex Rodriguez. I asked him how much he weighed yesterday. He told me 225. He looks like he goes closer to 235. It's massive.
And the dangerous Mr. Sheffield, who, by the way, in regular season play is 4 for 10 with a couple of home runs off Joe Nathan.
Well, they're not going to be messing around. I mean, this is the type of pitcher that Sheffield likes to face. Great fastball hitter. Nathan throws a fastball in the mid-90s.
Whoa.
It's just worth it, isn't it? It's just worth it. Watch this. Oh, man. Boy, I'll pay to watch that just 3 times. Just give me 3 more shots like that, you know? Power against power, see who wins.
Another big swing, but this time a pop-up. Rivas. Will backpedal. Sheffield cannot advance Rodriguez. Another of these professional hitters that Joe Torre was talking so glowingly about right before the game, Hideki Matsui. As Rivera starts getting ready for New York.
But that's a problem right there that you can't just skip over or overlook. You have to make a productive out right there. Nathan's no day in the park, but that was a power against power display. But if you're going to make it out, you've got to get A-Rod to third base.
Right here, they will set it up and try and get the double play from Bernie Williams, who did hit into 2 double plays last night. Very manageable pitch count for Joe Nathan, including these 4 wide ones right now. He'll be going up to about 18 or 19. And even though he was at around 50 pitches on Wednesday, obviously Thursday and Friday off to recuperate. The Twins, by the way, in the bottom of the 9th will have 2, 3, and 4 in their order coming up. Jones, Hunter, and Morneau.
Of course, everybody knows by now that that was the longest outing of the season for Joe Nathan.
Again, we'll be dovetailing at the conclusion of this game right into Game 3 of the Dodgers and the Cardinals. L.A. hanging on for dear life. Minnesota doing the same thing. They had a 5-1 lead to the Minnesota Twins in the 8th inning. And the Yankee Magic swirled here at the Metrodome. Bernie Williams, who had the home run that clinched the AL East against the Minnesota Twins. 10 days ago.
It's some rare emotion out of Bernie Williams. You talked about before, he has to control his emotions, but we never see him. I love the way he describes pitch recognition and the way it works for him. The way he talks about, if I see a breaking ball, when I see the elevation of the ball out of the pitcher's hand, that tells me that I have to squat down in my stance to wait for it.
He waits and he takes, and he's down 0-2.
Bernie didn't like it, but that's a pretty nasty pitch. Nathan doing pretty much what Baltimore did. Came in and he's throwing gas.
Yes, he is. 97 miles an hour, but Williams fouls it. Nathan's pitch count at 21. The Twins do have Kyle Loesch in the bullpen, but obviously they want to see Nathan keep this thing 5-5. The very reason that Loesch did not get a starting assignment is really because they don't trust him in a big game, big situation. This is a big game, big situation.
If you remember 2 seasons ago when the Angels played the Twins in the American League Championship Series, they had those same feelings of a guy named Santana. Pitched him out of the bullpen 3 innings, and that was it.
jerks it down the line. Foul. He got milk. Right off the bottle in the right field corner.
Oh, you talk about getting on top of a nasty fastball inside. Look at that. Bernie's still showing some tremendous quickness. Of course, I got to think he's sitting dead red, too. But, man, he tomahawked that thing.
On 0-2, no less.
Borders went out and had a little chat with Nathan after that, maybe talking about the possibility of throwing something off speed or throwing something in the dirt. Try to get Bernie to chase something. As you said, 0-2, he can afford it.
Well, he was on it, but he fouled it back.
Well, I love this. This is just, what do you got? This is my best pitch. Can you hit it?
The Yankees have stranded 8. They've got 2 on here.
Tension in the fans a little bit, huh?
And Joe Nathan, a native New Yorker. So he grew up a Mets fan, not a Yankee fan.
And a shortstop. There's a little breaking ball. That's a little backdoor slider here from Nathan. Bernie out in his front foot a little bit. Keeps his hands back well enough to just get a piece of that ball. Nathan was so upset when the Giants organization tried to make a pitcher out of him when he was a shortstop. He actually quit the game and left the game for a year. Went back to school, decided playing baseball was a little bit more fun, and asked if he could come back. Now look at him.
He will have to deal here with Williams, an 8th pitch in this at-bat. Bernie Williams is out on strikes 2 away.
Remember that fastball that he tomahawked? This is where you just pretty much guess as a hitter. You think you're going to get a fastball. You cheat. You try to get out in front of it. You don't get that fastball, and you've got no way to hold up your swing. This ball actually bounces in front of the plate.
Right now, those of you in St. Louis and L.A. about to leave us to see the first pitch of Game 3. The Cardinals and the Dodgers live from L.A. For those of you around the country who also want to see that instead of this, you can jump on over to FX. Right now, it is Posada settling in at a home plate.
If you don't live in L.A. or St. Louis, how do you leave this game?
Unless you've got a relative playing in that game. Fouled right back. Posada, remember, last inning. Came up with a couple on and struck out. One of the 11 Yankee failures today with runners in scoring position. If Posada gets on, it advances to Sierra, who hit the 3-run homer that tied it last inning. Alex Rodriguez, a terrific secondary lead. And a soft base hit somewhere because of that. 2 outs. Very likely Alex Rodriguez would score.
Posada does not drive in a run in this situation. Yankee fans will have to at least point back to the situation of Sheffield not getting Jeter or not getting A-Rod over to third base with nobody out.
It was a booming leadoff double by Alex Rodriguez. It was almost exactly the same, almost a carbon copy of what he did to Nathan in Game 2. behind Borders on a wave and a miss. So now that go-ahead man is at third.
Pat just boxed that one. Looked like he was looking for a little bit more movement, over-adjusted for it. The ball hit him off the heel of the glove.
That's a pass ball. In the ninth, tie game. Climbs the pump for one more 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He's at 30 pitches. Posada is down on strikes.
What a great job by Nathan.
Once again, Joe Nathan being stretched out 32 pitches now. He keeps it 5-5. And the Twins trying to win game 4 here in the bottom of the ninth against Flash Gordon. Jock Jones with a pair of solo home runs in this series. His dad's funeral just 2 days ago, playing with a very heavy heart. Loops it to left field. Matsui chases. Can't get it. Shaded over to left center. That was a long run.
Sure was. Ball didn't hang up there as long as he would have thought. He had to run all the way over and couldn't quite make the effort to make that play.
Now keep in mind, Jones in game 2 swung and missed at a Gordon curveball, but it was such a good curveball it bounced away. Jones reached. The Yankees were trailing this game 5-1. Johan Santana was lifted after 5 innings, so he looked like he probably could have gone more. Grant Balfour did his job. A couple of scoreless innings, but Juan Rincon did not do his job, giving up 4 runs in a third of an inning. A 4-run Yankee 8th. Rip and a miss, and Jones is out.
This is the one area where Jones still has to cut down a little bit. 117 strikeouts during the regular season. Doesn't get cheated.
We compared Torrey Hunter to Kirby Puckett earlier. Big game player for these Minnesota Twins. We also talked about Kirby Puckett in 1991 in the World Series here, when he told the guys, get on my back, I'll get it done somehow, and he won it with a walk-off home run.
Jones has won, or Torrey Hunter rather, has now won 3 consecutive Gold Glove awards in center field. When he was awarded his 3rd one, he actually gave it to that man right there.
Jerry White, the outfield coach. Hunter in the air to left. Not quite Puckett on that one.
Jerry White was so moved by the fact that Hunter gave him his Gold Glove award, he couldn't keep it together. Standing on the field, just bawling like a little baby, he said. Hunter credits White with a lot of what he's been able to accomplish defensively.
The Twins are not known for hitting a lot of home runs. They haven't had a 30 home run season from anybody since Kent Herbeck in 1987. But here's Morneau. And they figure, Steve, that stat is going to change next year. Justin Morneau had 19 homers this year in about 70 games.
Yeah, just 74 ball games. Of course, he got hit on the hand. He had to take a cortisone shot in that hand before the series started. They feel like that has sapped him of some of his power. Still nowhere near 100%. But he says, hey, it's okay to play. Just hasn't been able to drive the ball since he got hit in the hand. There's a guy that can combine power with average. Hit 400 one season. Gulf Coast League in the minor leagues.
If you're looking for that walk-off heroism right here, one thing to keep in mind, Tom Gordon has not allowed a home run to any of these current Minnesota Twins ever. About 90 at-bats.
The old equalizer breaking ball right there.
Got a piece. Kyle Loesch is still warming in the bullpen. Joe Nathan having thrown 32 pitches.
You're in a situation right now where I would think Gardenhire would probably stay with Nathan again. You don't win, you go home. You worry about tomorrow. Nasty.
And Justin Morneau out of there. Nothing's resolved through 9. Ruben Sierra made it happen with a 3-run homer in the 8th, and now we've got the 10th. Joe Nathan is done. Here is Kyle Loesch, was a starter during the regular season, 5 1/3 ERA, and he draws Ruben Sierra for assignment number 1 in the 10th inning. It was Sierra who knotted the ball game up 5 aside in the 8th inning, becoming the 6th different New York Yankee to homer in this series. 3-run shot.
As you were talking about, Josh, I mean, was 1 for 20 before that at bat. Really, you're just looking for Ruben Sierra to give you that one big blast.
The Red Sox won in walk-off style with a home run from Ortiz. The Braves with Burkall. The Yankees had their game 2 for the ages in this series. The Yankees, with runners in scoring position in this game, Psycho, 3 for 15 with 7 strikeouts. But one of those 3 hits was a Sierra home run. Now lifting it to left field. 1 out in the 10th inning. Now, folks, tomorrow, Fox NFL Sunday returns, double-header action. America's #1 pregame show gets it started. Then it's the Giants and the Cowboys. And you've got the Seattle Seahawks and the Rams going at it, or other regional action. Fox NFL Sunday begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, in Fox Sports High Definition. It is only on Fox. And then baseball at night. The Twins hoping to force Game 5, which would be on Fox in New York tomorrow. Tony Clark, his first at bat. Not easy to walk a guy who is 6'8". But Clark is up 2-0. Tony Clark with fond memories of Minneapolis. He, at 6'8", played some basketball in college. He was going through his hoops phases at Williams Arena here in Minneapolis. While in his basketball uniform, his baseball contract was faxed to him. To the arena office. They were brought to him courtside. He signed to be a baseball player while wearing a basketball uniform here in Minneapolis. Off the plate, 3-2.
favorite sport's tennis. Kind of outgrew that game.
Yeah.
He's done a nice job for the Yankees. 16 home runs, 13 of them from the left-hand side.
Two down, top of the 10th.
That was the rumored book on Tony Clark when he was with the Mets, that maybe his bat had slowed a little bit, and Loesch goes right after him with fastballs.
And Kyle Loesch, I think, defines the route the Twins have taken to get to where they are, Steve. The blueprint of trading veterans for prospects. Cairo with a bunt. Loesch scrambles, fires. Got him at third base. And the Twins can win it in the bottom of the 10th. We'll return to Minneapolis after a word from your local Fox station. Whoa. Game 4 of the AL Division Series is in the 10th. Rivera has come on. Let's take you back to how things ended up in the top of the 10th inning.
Think you want to be an umpire? You tell me. Safe or out?
That's a crew chief, Jerry Crawford, the veteran man on this 6-man crew.
Yeah, they don't get the benefit of slow motion or 5 different angles of it either.
Oh, here we go. Rivera against Costi, and what a showdown this was in Game 2. The memorable at-bat culminating in the automatic double to left. Had it not skipped out of the park, it's 6-5 Minnesota, and they're up 2-0 in the series. But it did skip out. Eventually, the Yankees won. Again, opposite field. That's what happened in that at-bat with Rivera in Game 2.
I don't think Rivera had his best stuff in Game 2. Rivera has now gone to 2 pitches. Used to be pretty much primarily throwing the cutter. Now he does throw a 2-seamer that'll try to straighten out and run to the other side of the plate occasionally against a left-hander. But that's just to keep guys honest. I don't think it's his best pitch. That is.
Yeah, and the Yankees scouting report on Costi, whether it's Rivera on the mound or not, is to go at him just like this. Down and in.
Get in on his hands, try to tie him up. Because as we talked about before, one of the reasons why he lowered his hands was to get into a better position to be able to drive the ball the other way.
Got it in there just fine, and Costi pops it up to Jeter. The even-numbered games of this series have teetered into extra frames at 5-5.
That's what a cutter does for you right there. You go to swing at it, you think you're going to hammer it, and then the ball moves, and in Rivera's case, about 6 inches in on your hands, and you get nothing.
But the one he went away with, the fastball away for that double in Game 2, that's what was so shocking, because, yeah, that cutter just eats you up. It was almost as if after the 8th pitch of the at-bat came to pass, it was like Rivera said, well, I guess I ought to try something else. And Costi was ready for it. The only extra base hit that Rivera has allowed to any of these Twins.
Well, there's a lot of people out there thinking that the theory is send right-handed hitters up against Rivera. Let the ball break away from your right-handed hitters where they may have a better chance of hitting it than that cutter that bears in on the hands of the lefties.
Now, one thing to note about Rivera, he had to come on in that wild 9th inning last night. Joe Torre not thrilled about that, considering it was 8-1 entering the 9th inning. Ford sounded like a splintered bat. Another pop-up. And 2 men out.
It's just a clinic. 2 hitters come to the plate, and 2 hitters get just jammed.
Christian Guzman, a couple of strikeouts and a bounce out in this game. This game is Game 4 of the ALDS. The Twins need to win it to force Game 5 tomorrow. Johan Santana was the starter for Minnesota. And he was very good, but he was lifted after 5 innings, having allowed 1 run. The Yankees got the pitch count up there for Santana. 87 pitches through 5 innings. Ground ball back to the mound. So we are through 10 with nothing decided. On to the 11th. 5-5 in Game 4. Game summary as we head into the 11th inning. What is now a 4-hour game. Johan Santana, 5 solid innings. The Twins had 1 big inning. So did the New York Yankees. And as they once said in the movie Spinal Tap, this one goes to 11. At least it went to 12 back in Game 2. And right now, obviously, you've got Rivera, the closer, on for the Yankees. But Nathan, the closer, out for the Twins.
Already seen them both come into the game. And I think it's amazing what we've seen today is both teams play the game the way they play it. I think the Twins did a good job of trying to win this game, pitching and defense, eking out a few runs when they got the chances, and then the Yankees with the big blast to get themselves back in this game by Ruben Sierra.
If there is a Game 5, Radke against Mussina. Let's go to Chris Myers.
Derek Jeter bats. Mike Mussina and Brad Radke are missing a good game. When it was 5-1 in the 6th inning, the Yankees, as is their standard procedure, told Mike to head back to New York, either for Game 5 or the League Championship Series. As for Radke, he was told to pack up in the clubhouse and get ready for New York as well. The Twins said earlier today that they had their bags packed for New York. The question was whether it would be for work or just as tourists.
Well, it sure looked like the Twins were going to cruise on and have Radke, no question, going tomorrow, leading 5-1 with 6 outs left. They were up 5-2 with 5 outs to get. Now Kyle Loesch has to stare at Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and Gary Sheffield. It's like staring at the sun. You can hurt yourself. Loesch has been getting ahead of everybody. 1-2 to count.
Good location again. Wants it in. Jeter can't pull the trigger.
Got him. Just the 3rd time in Derek Jeter's career that he has struck out 4 times.
That's a good pitch. The emotions there, Derek Jeter telling him that that wasn't a strike, but it was. He just didn't want it to be.
One superstar out of the way. Now here comes another. And Alex Rodriguez drills it near the line. It's foul. Rodriguez's performance in Game 2 seemed to quell that thought that A-Rod was here simply as fancy window dressing. Came up with a few big hits. And that was really the criticism about Alex Rodriguez all year, as we discussed, Steve, that even though the numbers ended up looking okay, in fact, anybody else would gladly take those numbers, the lack of the big hit late. There is a big hit late. It goes to the left field corner, and Alex Rodriguez has doubled twice in the last 3 innings. Once again, very casually calls for timeout, addressing the second base umpire by his first name.
You're just not going to hold down the type of talent that Alex Rodriguez has all that for the entire season. And the guy is putting his stamp on being a Yankee in this postseason. I think most Yankee fans and the people in the organization were upset with his inability to drive in runs with guys in scoring position.
Welcome to those of you watching the Dodgers and the Cardinals. Josh Lewin, Steve Lyons, Chris Myers here at the Metrodome, where the Yankees are trying to take the lead in the 11th. Alex Rodriguez at second base. Gary Sheffield at the plate. Derek Jeter started the inning with a strikeout. But Alex Rodriguez now with 2 walks and 2 doubles. He's at second base. What an interesting game it's been for Gary Sheffield. Lost a fly ball in the Metrodome roof. Cost the Yankees a run, but then he started that 4-run rally in the 8th. One ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, to finish that thought, Josh, you know, Rodriguez had 106 RBIs on the year, but a lot of Yankee fans thought that he would have driven in a lot more. As you look at a nice little slider there from Lowe's. For the longest time, Rodriguez was hitting about 220 with runners in scoring position. Ended up hitting about 250.
Runner going. And Borders no throw. Alex Rodriguez, with Loesch paying him no attention, just sprinted to third base. And now the go-ahead run at third with only 1 out. Sheffield at the plate.
It's just heads-up, complete baseball. He one-looked him. Alex could still run, and he just took advantage of the situation.
The Twins needing to win this Game 4 to force Game 5 in New York tomorrow night. It is 5-5 in the 11th. Sheffield fouls it right back. It's still 1-2. Rodriguez and Sheffield, the first time in Yankee history, Steve, they've had 2 right-hand hitters with 35 home run seasons simultaneously. And here is Sheffield trying to score Rodriguez in the 11th. The infield in for Minnesota.
With Sheffield at the plate, the infield playing in, you could get somebody hurt.
Two balls, 2 strikes, just 1 out.
That's just a big stolen base, because when Sheffield hits the balls, all to do is loft one into the outfield now to score a run.
Ground ball wide of third. It stays 2-2. Gary Sheffield back in 1997, Steve, had a very strong postseason for the Marlins. Since then, he has not been a factor in postseason play. It gets away, and here comes Alex Rodriguez. Pat Borders inserted into the game back in the 8th. 2 have gotten by him. 6-5 New York.
I don't know if Borders could do anything about this one. I think this ball is just uncorked. You see Borders on the outside part of the plate there. He goes down. Well, that is his fault. You can't backhand that ball with a guy on third base.
Sheffield follows. That is caught up to by Rivas for out number 2.
I didn't realize that Borders had shifted that far off the plate and wanted that pitch that far outside. But a pitch like that, you got to get down and block it and not try to catch it. Borders will try to backhand this ball instead of getting down and smothering it. That's why the ball bounces off his glove and Rodriguez scores.
And the stolen base ends up being key. Ball 1 to Matsui. In a position to make those home run hankies. Used to be a tier receptacle. This would be it for the Minnesota Twins. If they do not rally, they're done. They will have to come back against Rivera.
And if the Yankees go on to win this game, you're talking about a team with 61 come-from-behind wins in the regular season, and all 3 of their wins in this series come from behind.
And to be talking about the game-tying rally, starting with that broken bat single by Sheffield. The damage is done. And Alex Rodriguez double plus a steal. And then the wild pitch. 6-5 New York in Game 4. And there you have it, 6-5 now in the 11th inning. Alex Rodriguez nailed the double, stole third. They'll be talking about that quite a bit. The wild pitch then scored him. And now, Jose Offerman is going to pinch hit. What a tall order here. You've got to find a way to tie it against Mariano Rivera. Don't forget, at the end of this game, we'll join the Dodgers and the Cardinals, Game 3. This is Game 4 of what has been a very interesting division series between small market Minnesota, whoppingly big market New York.
I think what we're seeing, too, is a guy like Alex Rodriguez showing off all of his talents and proving once again why he's the best player in the game. He stole 28 bases during the regular season, and they kind of forgot about him out there. He steals a big base, and it ends up being potentially the game-winning run.
We talked about it right at the top of the broadcast, Steve. A lot of people mentally are already getting set to go to the airport and get ready to go to New York for Game 5 because Santana was the starting pitcher. And actually, he left with a 5-1 lead.
I think Johan Santana was as advertised.
Javier Vazquez gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. Didn't go real well, but Esteban Loaiza should not be forgotten with a couple of scoreless innings right after that. When the Twins were trying to pull away, they could not. Gordon and Rivera from there. Everyone has seen this movie before. The New York Yankees down, but not out. Now the Twins trying to pull out the rally. Right in on the hands of Offerman. 1 out.
And another broken bat.
Should be another pinch hitter coming up now, too. Here's a guy that can change things in a hurry. Matthew LeCroy.
And a period during the season this year where he hit 3 straight pinch home runs.
You talked earlier, and you ended up being very prescient about it. Ruben Sierra up there thinking only one thing, home run, and it happened to tie the game. Same story here with LeCroy, thinking one thing, get a hold of one, tie it up.
One thing and one thing only. I mean, it's not like it's a single. You really have to pinch run for him anyway. He's looking to drive one into the gaps and hopefully hit it out of the ballpark. And as we said before, right-handed might have a better opportunity of doing that. Let the cutter run away from him. You've seen everybody else go to the plate and get their bats broken.
There's that home run cut. Amazing how this is playing out. Last year at Yankee Stadium, the Twins took Game 1. And then that was it. The Yankees came back, won Game 2, won Game 3. They won Game 4 here against Santana.
Nico, it reminds you a little bit of a right-handed hitting Ruby Durazo of the A's. Big guy, short arms, short, quick, compact, powerful swing.
The big swing, but a fly ball to left.
I think Rivera broke his back.
Boy, join the club. Rivera out of the bullpen, even though he had to pitch yesterday. He has looked very strong today. And now on into tonight. Again, those of you watching the Dodgers and the Cardinals, welcome back. 1 out away from the Yankees versus the Red Sox in the ALCS. It is 6-5 here in the 11th inning. New York on top in game 4. Shannon Stewart, the batter. The Twins had this thing in their sights. They were up 5-1. They brought in Juan Rincon, who was lights out all year, his ERA in the 2s. But he gave up 4 runs in the 8th. The Yankees took the lead here in the 11th. Ground ball. Yankees, Red Sox, LCS. For the 2nd year in a row. Another Yankee comeback. And for the 2nd straight year, the Twins are done in 4 against the New York Yankees. Minnesota will not have a Game 5 in the Bronx. A 6-5 final in 11th. Another Yankee comeback gets it done. Dodgers and Cardinals are straight up. Now, for more info on this game, for the latest on Major League Baseball, you can go to foxsports.com. For Steve Lyons, for Chris Myers, I'm Josh Lewin saying so long from Minneapolis. Great year for the Twins, but it's done. The Yankees move on. Jeannie coming back in the Fox Television Center after these messages.